the Honorable Brother, the Revolutionary yourself, Darius Lockhart, and I'm here to tell you to watch Powerbombshells every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel. That's right, every Sunday at 1 p.m., and that's on time, every time, because when we stand together, what time is it? That's right, it's nation time.
Welcome to Powerbombshells 174. I'm Mel. That's Sam. We're just two broads talking about the wrestling we watch. How's it going?
It's been a week, but I got to see some live wrestling last night. Ashe 10 happened.
Nice.
Very, very good show. It is up on the Ashe YouTube channel and on their Twitch channel. So if you have some time this week, check it out. It's a really good show. Really good that it was, I can't believe they've made it to 10 shows, and it was
so awesome.
Very, very good. The main event was Khan versus Shug D for the Pan-African World Diaspora Championship. Really, really great main event. That was the match that I was most looking forward to. It delivered very good. I was like, I don't know if I should give a spoiler or not because it's out on the internet, but I was like, so unfortunately, I guess I'll give a quick spoiler, even if you don't want this. I mean, still go watch the show, but Shug D's reign ended at 650 days, and he lost it on his 20th defense. And the longest reigning champion, he's the second ever champion. The longest reigning champion is Trish Adora. She had that title for over 1,500 days. She held that title. So this lineage is Trish Adora, Shug D, and now Khan, which is interesting. And I thought it was kind of interesting too, because Khan obviously is the AEW/ROH wrestler, and so is Trish. And so this title is staying kind of like in that little family, which was really interesting. But it was a really great match. We kind of, Nikki and I talked about it like a couple days ago, and we're like, well, would you think they would have Khan win here? And then last night when they were like, today is the 650th day of his reign, I was like, oh, okay, I know what's happening. and it just broke my heart for Shug because he loved that title. Not that he doesn't love his other ones, but it was a really great match. And we got to see Jonathan Gresham was on the card. We got Tasha Steelz. A really great match with Charity King and Jordan Blade. So the next show is September 6th, and they will be crowning the very first Ashe Women's Champion at that show, which is really exciting. And we had Ian Maxwell put out a challenge against Cedric. So Cedric is returning in September because Cedric had a lot to say about the North Carolina indie scene at the last Ashe show. And Ian Maxwell has been in the North Carolina indie scene in these last 8 years since Shug has been gone. Since Cedric has been gone. And he had some things to say about it. So that should be fun. And then another match was made. Well, I'll just let you see the show. So if there's some really good stuff last night. So if you have some time,
check it out, everybody.
Check it out. It was over. It's over on the Ashe YouTube channel or on their Twitch. But it was a really great.
I usually give everyone the website because if you go on the website, it has everything.
Yes,
they always have such fun content on the website proper. Like just their clips are fun. So it's like.
Right, and there's only 3 more Ashe shows this year. There's one on September 6th. I think it's October 18th, which is going to be their Halloween show, and then their 2-year anniversary show is December the 6th, I believe. So those are the last 3 shows of this year. But he didn't give a date, but Ashe season 2 is coming. So Ashe has they've made episodic TV shows from episodes 1 through 4. So episodes 5 through 9 are coming soon. So you can get caught up that way. A lot of great stuff. But it was a really great show last night. I didn't buy one, but they were printing shirts on demand last night. They had 2 screen printers up there, like where you buy the tickets, and you could get Ashe shirts made, which I thought was really cool to see. I don't know if that was just because it was the 10th show or if they're going to keep doing that, but they had like special drinks. They had wrestling themed drinks. The wrestlers got to make their own. So there was Shug had his drink. Khan had one. Rayhan had he had a shot. Keith Mack had one, and Mr. Darius Carter, who was recently on this show, he had his own drink. And actually, I talked to him last night and officially introduced myself. I didn't get to talk to him at the last show, so I officially introduced him, and he was great, even though, you know, he's a bad guy, but he really enjoyed, he said that he enjoyed on the show, and he said he'd love to come back. I told him he has an open invitation, but it was funny because when we were talking to him, Darius Lockhart walked by and he yelled, you're talking to my op. Well, listen, this time you've talked to me all night. I mean, clearly he's very busy doing things but he's in and out taking down fixtures and doing all kinds of things that just made me laugh. And I was like, well, listen, you haven't spoken to, that's the first words you've said to me all night. I can't help it that your op is talking to me.
Seriously.
I want to come back on the show.
I can't help it that you're super busy and super in demand and need to be everywhere all the time.
Right, exactly.
You're the one who started the awesome wrestling promotion.
Right, exactly.
Jerk. You awesome jerk, you.
Right. So I did leave some pugs at the table where people were getting their tickets, because I talked to Yo-Yo, who's one of the referees. She was renting the tickets last night, and so I asked her if I could leave them. She's like, yeah, sure. And so there were some left over last night, and I was like, I guess I'll take them back. She was like, I can just leave them with our stuff. And so she put them in a little plastic bag and she wrapped it with the stuff. So I guess at the next show they'll just put them out for us.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. People love them just because they're cute. So
yeah. And I was telling Nikki, I was like, I didn't think about it at the time. I was like, oh, next time I was like, I should split it. So like one side has like the front side, but then the other side, people will see the little lucha mask and be like, what's that? And so I was like, I should flip that face side up so that like people, maybe they'll be intrigued by that other than our cute, if they're not intrigued by our very cute logo that you can now get on a t-shirt, by the way.
Oh yeah, I have a picture of that. And the website where you can go to buy. Yeah. Hold on, wait.
We don't print shirts on demand. However, they will make your shirt.
We have our partners over here at One Red Tea who are ever so kindly hosting this fantastic thing.
Yes,
here
they are. Go ahead.
It comes in 3 colors.
Yeah, I mean, if you're partial to your black wrestling shirts, we got you covered. But if you would like some color in your wardrobe, like Brad and Kathy, then we've got Azalea and Sky as color options for you. So you've got those, and they are technically printed on demand in the way that the Ashe shirts are, but they are made to order, so they do not print them until you order them. So it is technically made to order just for you. So it may not be on the spot, but it's coming to you, and it ships worldwide. So wherever you are in the world, you can get you a Power Bombshell shirt, just like Brad and Kathy did.
And I do believe that our dear leader, Mr. Gary Gonzalez, had one arrive to him.
Good for him. Yay.
I think he went with blue, is what I think he told me.
The blue seems to be a popular color. I mean, I really like the pink one, but the blue one seems to be a popular choice. But
I think the pink ones are going to be a lot of fun. And, it's a lot of fun. It's just so cool that and I'm wearing actually one of the One Red T-shirts that was one of the yearly campaign shirts. I don't have the newest one because it's in the wash right now, but this is the Winners Don't Drink Drugs shirt that was one of them a few years ago. And this is hilarious because I asked him one day, I'm like, what's the joke? And he's like, so my little sister at one time, she got the two crossed over, and so she said one day, winners don't drink drugs. And it's so funny, and it stuck for such a long time. And if you really look like it, it's got an alligator holding an 80s boombox on it.
Amazing.
Focus here, but you can, and those are also on the website. So I mean, Kyle does such fun work.
Yeah, there's all kinds of cool merch on his website. You should definitely check it. And he's got stuff like Beyond shirts on there. There's all kinds of.
Oh, I love that he's branching out. He made me a dress out of one of his thingies for, I know I've said this before, but for you new people, he made me a dress for one of my friends' weddings based on one of his designs. And
that's so cool.
He's just a lot. It's such a partnership because again, it's a small business. It's someone that's doing this, and he does source nice because he's been doing this for a long time. He's been making sure he knows where to get the good shirts.
Right.
Yeah, I got a shirt guy. But Yeah, it's a lot of fun,
Well,
and
it's
it's
good.
cool to be a crossover and like I
Yeah.
like that we're working with other independent
Right.
people that create like this. It's fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like we said before, they're good quality shirts, but they're affordable. Those were the two things that we really wanted or besides them being cute, it's that we wanted them to be affordable, but we also wanted them to be good quality. We didn't want to cheap out on you just because the price was affordable. We wanted to do a nice balance, and I think we've achieved that. And I can't wait till mine comes, and then hopefully I can wear it to the next Ashe show since it's in September. I'll have plenty of time.
I mean, the best part is it's the guy who designed the logo in the first place.
Right, even
All
better.
comes full circle, quite literally. Yay, Powerbombshells.
Thank you. Oh, I have on my this is my Revolt shirt from
nice.
Which was Zane and Caleb, but then this iteration of Revolt had Darius in it. They did have Darius as part of their faction for a little bit, and it has their names on it, and it has some stuff that they were standing for, because obviously this was right around some of the I think this was just before the Black Lives Matter, or right around that time, and then some things happened in PWX at the time and ended up leading to Darius leaving, which eventually led to Ashe. So it's just a nice continuation of that. And so I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to wear my other Darius related shirt
I like it
today to get that in there.
I mean,
so,
life. It just goes. And then something new and good comes out of it, because Ashe is awesome. And I'm excited. I'm glad that Darius had fun. We know Kathy doesn't approve. But
yes, we don't.
But we totally understand.
Yes, also. We did have the great Billy Dixon that was on the show last night. So I believe Kathy is a fan of his. Faye was there. She was not on the show last night, but Faye was, and I saw her walking around and said hey to her. So and I've heard, I have not been blessed. I needed to go back to the last show, but Swole and Chris Lee were on commentary, and I have heard the last time they were on commentary, it was insane. Just the way that they were just crazy and funny and just saying all kinds of insane things, and ran into Swole in the bathroom after they did 2 free pre-show matches for it. So there was what's funny, because they did 2 free pre-show matches that were open to everyone. And
cool.
There was a bunch of kids, like, I don't know, maybe like 10 or 15 kids that were there. And I think they were getting ready there was a soccer game last night for Charlotte FC. And so I think before the game, they got brought to watch some wrestling shows. And the first guy that came out started cheering like crazy. Well, it's their first show. They didn't realize he was a heel, and he didn't know how to react to the kids cheering for him because he's the bad guy.
Right.
It was really funny. And then some of them kind of turned and realized, okay, this is the bad guy. I need to boo him. And then it was just kind of funny watching their interactions. And then the second match, some of the kids were like wanting because they're kids, so they have their hands over and wanting. And Ashton Starr comes out. Ashton is a heel, and then also I guess does not like children, or his character doesn't. And so he was like doing like this, trying to get across the apron of the match of the ring to avoid kids touching him. I laughed so hard, and then commentary, because they were directly across from us, we could see their reaction. I was like, man, I hope, because it's on that is on YouTube too. They put the pre-show matches. I was like, I hope somebody gifts that, because it was so funny the way that he reacted, and those kids like did not get it, and it was really funny. But so anyway, I ran into Swole in the bathroom after the pre-show matches, and she was like, we are already getting tweets about commentary from the pre-show. So she was like, I can only imagine what's gonna happen once we get to the main card. So a treat for you guys whenever you get to watch it, is listening to Swole and Chris Lee on commentary.
That's fantastic. I'm really glad that that's going well.
Yeah, me too.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Well, I guess
that awkward silence.
Yeah, that awkward silence, especially what we're transitioning into. I guess we need to address the elephant in the room. Yeah. We don't want to do a whole segment. Just also, it's Sunday. Everybody has weighed in on this situation. on obviously Hulk Hogan passed away on, what was that, Thursday? And lots of people have had things to say about it. I would say the best thing, I haven't had a chance to listen to it, but I highly recommend just knowing the way that Steven and Jeremy cover the history of Japan. I would say go check out, speaking of Strong Style, the full episode is on YouTube, but they also clipped the conversation where they just discussed Hulk Hogan's time in New Japan. So I definitely go check out their YouTube. Jim Valley apparently has done like 3 shows this week. I know he recorded a show with Fumi that ended up being like 2 hours long, because obviously Fumi has a lot of the history of Hogan in Japan as well. And then Jim Valley himself addressed it on his own show yesterday. He talked about some things, so I would definitely check them out. I have, do you have to have a subscription to F4W to hear Garrett and John LaRocca talk about it?
I think the Fight Game, if it's the Fight Game podcast, I think you can listen to it normal.
I think it was for Wrestling Observer. I think. I could be wrong, because I retweeted Garrett yesterday.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you have an Observer, so if it's something that's Jim does he crosses over and does his on his own channel also.
So it's on his YouTube channel as well. That's how I listened to it yesterday.
And that's part of that too, is because he doesn't want, ultimately he wants people to be able to watch it that can't. And also, like the same with Pacific Rim, is that wasn't behind a paywall for years. They just did that. That was them.
Yeah.
Me and Fumi have become friends. And I think certainly the guy who drove Hulk Hogan around as part of his job regularly in Japan has way, way, way more, who's a historian and a journalist for such things, has way more and better things to say about it than we do. So like listening to Fumi and Jim and Pacific Rim, Jim, it was partially because at some point, just like he got asked a lot and had to address it. And I think he did a better job I haven't listened to a whole bunch because again, the feelings. I listened to Jim yesterday. I think he not only did a good job in his Facebook Live, but also especially on his Observer Live yesterday of really laying it out there.
Yeah, he did make a song about Hogan. Jim did, and Brad says, "Thank you, Brad, for checking this out. The Pacific Rim show is on Jim's channel as well.
Yeah, he usually does that. He's really
that's the show he did with Fumi, and Fumi, like Mel said, drove Hogan around. That was part of his job, and so he clearly is going to have some different stories and different kind of outlook. I don't know how much they discuss it, but I would probably also recommend you checking out Grapsity, because I think that even though obviously Jim, people who were around in the 80s and fans in the 80s, and obviously Fumi, because he has a one-on-one experience, I think those are important voices. But in this situation, I think also listening to Black wrestling fans, especially Black wrestling podcasters, are probably also voices that need to be in this conversation, especially louder than 2 white women on this, especially in this story. So we just felt like that was the best way to kind of handle this, because we have some differing opinions on some things, and we know, and obviously fans feel differently, and we understand that grief is, a difficult, and I think one of the tweets that I saw was from Hurricane Helms, and that was he said that he was so conflicted because he was like, Hogan was really great to me. He was really nice, and I wish people had this experience, but I also know that my friends did not have this experience with him, and I wish that they did, but I can't change what happened. I can't change their experience and their feelings, and I hate this because I'm torn in between both of these. And he was like, what happened to them is just as important as my experience with him, which I think was very appropriate, and probably what a lot of people feel, there are people who had really great experiences with him, but there were other people who were very hurt by the things that he did. And they are just as valid, and their feelings on this are just as valid. And so we don't feel it's really our place to kind of, not the way in, it just, there are a lot of opinions out there that I don't think we need our opinions added to that. And yeah, Nikki brings that a good point. Carly Bravo had he had an interesting or a tweet as well that he talked about, like he said that he hoped that he dealt with his demons before he passed. And that he reckoned that, but he doesn't know. And he was like, but also, I know the things that he did and said, and that's kind of where he said it. And then later on he tweeted, he was like, it's a really interesting time to be a Black wrestler with opinions this week. It's just, I don't know that we could have how much more we could have added to this conversation. And I felt like, at least for me personally, I felt it was better to kind of direct people to other places to
people with more experience and better all around macro looks at the picture that are not clouded by personal misstatements and all the kinds of things that we don't want to engage in, that we don't really engage in here. It's just not worth it. It's not our place in a lot of ways.
Right.
And Malcolm Jamal Warner and Ozzy also RIP. Like that, it was a weird week for icons
which is interesting also because not only is Hogan a WWE Hall of Famer, so is Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
He was inducted into the celebrity wing. So WWE actually lost 2 Hall of Famers, which was crazy. Which is a crazy to think about in that context. But yes, they both lost. It just and I want to put up Curry Head's comment here. He says, Black wrestling fan, I had this response: the character Hogan was a culture icon. Terry Bollea was a piece of crap and ruined the wrestling business behind the scenes.
Valid.
I mean,
I think Tony Schiavone did an excellent job on Collision last night.
I haven't watched Collision. I did.
That's okay. I think that he handled it as best as he was going to be able to handle it, given the fact that everyone was just giving him unmitigated crap all week.
Which is insane because
for no good reason.
How many of your coworkers do you work with that you don't like, and that's what you would say? Because they literally asked him. He said, the guy said, if reading comprehension is your friend. The guy straight up asked, was he a long? I assume he's a long-term friend of yours. He said, long-term friend? No. Coworker? Yes. That is a factual statement. That is nothing. That is not saying anything bad about him or anything. He's telling the truth. They were not friends. How many of your friends? How many coworkers do you have that you were not friends with? And if they died, that's what you would say. Like, it's not a bad thing. He's telling the truth. And why should he lie? Because Hogan was one of the biggest stars in the 80s, so he should lie and say they were friends when they weren't. That's disingenuous. And if the roles were reversed, no, I'll go into that. Let me not go into that. But it's insane for people to treat Tony Schiavone the way that they were, and then to tell him that he would not have a job without Hogan, which is a flat out lie.
Guys,
he would have a job. And like Nikki said, Terry Bollea or Hulk Hogan did not sign his paychecks.
Correct.
Then somebody had the nerve to tell Meltzer that he would not have a job if it weren't for Hogan. Like Meltzer wasn't already a wrestling historian long before Hogan came along.
Hogan wasn't even a star in America first. He was a star in Japan first.
Right.
That's why Jeremy and Steven are your go-to guys on this.
Right.
And he was a real wrestler. He was a real wrestler back then. He had to really wrestle. So
he wasn't phoning it in and doing leg drops all the time.
There are whole belts. Like I'm sure they explained it because they're really good. They know the history. They're but that's Vince did what he always did with that. Mm-hmm. And he gave the character Hogan Irish. He wanted like a classic Midwestern Irish American type name character, and that's what he came up with. I'm like, I should know this because one of my family names are O'Horgan.
Oh,
got changed to Hogan in America.
Got it. Yeah.
And so but it's A major name in wrestling passed away this week. My
Yeah.
condolences go out to his family members and the people that are grieving him right now, and that's about all I have to say on that. Because
Yeah,
I
don't
never
have a
ever
lot.
want to see any family in a position of losing a loved one, no matter who they are, because it really fucking sucks. It just blows.
Yeah, I can only imagine in Brooke's case, she was estranged from her father when he passed, and so I can imagine there's a lot of complicated feelings there.
Grief sucks, loss sucks, and that's all I'm focused on as another human. From one human to another, that's all I really care about, is that, like, my heart goes out to the family and the people that are grieving right now for all of these people. None of these are happy. It's losing people you love sucks. The end. It just does. And you and I both know it. So I think we just need to be human about it, and let the rest sort itself out. Enough, as Sam put it, enough people have said enough things. Like, we don't need to,
Yeah.
We've said our piece.
Yeah. So that's pretty much, all, I think that's all the time we're going to spend on it.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's perfect. Nailed it. Because
it.
we want to talk about better, happier things, because we generally try to lean towards that unless it's really, really super important. And right now we're in the blazing speed of government phase of certain more serious stories. So we get to talk about actual wrestling.
We do.
Some actual wrestling, some kind of sad bullcrap wrestling.
Yeah. It's been a kind of a weird, just even general, because some of this has come in between. So first of all, we'll just go, actually one of the stories will come now, because so AEW is obviously doing a tag team tournament, and at first when they announced it, because they said it was for Forbidden Door, I thought they were going to face a New Japan tag team. I thought this was originally, I thought the tournament was, when it first was announced, I was like, oh, and then I was like, well, are they facing the juniors or the heavyweight tag team champions? And then I looked at the graphic again, and it says an AEW tag team title shot. So it is to face the Hurt Syndicate at Forbidden Door. It is not to wrestle a New Japan team. We're just defending our AEW belts on an AEW/New Japan show. But it's not the first time this has happened. But I just thought, and there's no New Japan wrestlers in this at all. Like, there's none of their tag teams are in this tournament.
That's a good point.
It's strictly an AEW. Like, if this was for All Out, it would be different. But this is for Forbidden. But they've done this before, where they've defended their own titles on this pay-per-view when it is a co-branded show. So originally I was like, oh hell yeah, we're getting a tag title match against the New Japan champions, and then no, that is not what's happening.
That would have been a good idea.
I would have preferred it. I would prefer for this show to be
throw a couple of New Japan ones in there, because I mean there are still, like, TMDK has.
No, the title, we looked the other night. It's Watto and Yo have the junior titles, and then I just blanked on who has the big titles. I'm sure Brad knows.
My favorite Aussie song is probably War Pigs, just because I just love that. I know it's a good one. I mean,
I'm partial to Crazy Train because before I found out things about Chipper Jones, Chipper was my favorite player, and Crazy Train was his walk-up song. And so I heard that song a lot watching baseball. So that's also, War Pigs is a really good song too, but that's
my anti-authority. Taichi Nishi, thank you very much.
Yes, I just looked this up 2 days ago.
I knew you guys would. We have a very reliable chat, and we do appreciate you all being here. And you guys,
and I get that too, that it is with G1 going on. I mean, I'm assuming we're getting the Tana Shibata match announcement after G1 ends. Because I still think that's where we're going with this, because that's the only way Shibata. That's the only way Shibata is going to get this match, is it to happen under an AEW banner.
It has to be an AEW.
He's not allowed in New Japan, or they're still mad.
Well, they won't medically clear him.
They're not that he's not allowed, but they won't allow him to wrestle, is what I should say.
They won't take the liability. They won't.
Right. So it has to happen under.
He almost died under their watch once. That was enough for them, apparently.
Yes. So I still think, but I assume that's coming after the G1. But yeah, so the title tournament was originally supposed to have the Guns in it, but then during Collision was taped, not last night's Collision, but the Collision
that was taped.
prior was filmed on Thursday, and Colton Gunn was injured in the match. From what I've heard, I don't think they have a diagnosis or anything or when he's gonna be back. But Austin wrestled Friday night at an indie show, and Colt was on the poster, and people were like, "Oh, somebody was like, chat, are we back?" And Austin said, "No, we are not back. Colton is going to be out for a little while," or he didn't really give up. It was kind of vague, obviously, and maybe they just don't know the severity of it, which is unfortunate because they literally just came back.
I know. It's like Juice is back, everything's cool, and then blam. I was like, no.
I know. I felt so bad for them.
I'm so glad that Juice and Austin are still wrestling together.
Yeah, apparently,
and that they actually got a win last night. So
yeah, I haven't. Obviously, I didn't get a chance to watch. I didn't get a chance to watch Collision yet because by the time we got home, because after the show we stuck around for a little bit and then we drove a friend home, and so by the time we ate, we were starving and had to take off makeup, and
we watched it
about all the time. We were just wanted to go to bed. We were like, we will watch because I had planned to at least start Collision, and then that didn't happen. And so I was going to try to pull up the because we have the full. They wouldn't give us the full bracket because I guess they were trying to see how bad the Colton injury was. And so then last night we got the full bracket, and I thought it would be okay. Here it is. I found it. So obviously we saw FTR, of course, beat Jet Speed. And then last night was Bang Bang Gang, which was, of course, Juice and Austin. They defeated Big Bill and Brian Keith. And then the other match we have on Wednesday is the Outrunners versus the Young Bucks. And then the final match of the tournament of the first round, I should say, is Gates of Agony versus Brodeo, which is Bandito and Brody King.
Which I like.
I like, but also I don't like them being in a tag team tournament when we have actual fucking tag teams.
Yeah.
Where are the workhorsemen? Where are DYV? We have real tag. The other company also does this stuff because they don't have enough tag teams. You do. Maybe I was like, I know they filmed. They typically bring in other teams, but I was like, was Workhorsemen just? They not, where are Kyle and Roddy? Why aren't they in this tournament? They are a tag team. You could have. Why are they not in this tournament? Like, you have 3 legitimate tag teams at least that you could have put in this. I mean, and I know they're not going to use Private Party, so that doesn't really count. But they where was the infantry? Why is the infantry not in this? They are a real tag team.
Isn't Top
even have
a thing? Wait, no.
Even if I don't want Sons of Texas, they're a real tag team.
Yeah, that's true.
You could have, or as Brad mentioned, you could have had a CMLL team.
Mm-hmm.
You could have done that. So, and again, I have nothing. I like Rodeo. I like that team.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Why are they competing for a shot at the tag titles when they're not a real tag team? Bandito has a title. Clearly Gates of Agony is going to win this, especially because of at least that match because of Ricochet and also got Gates of Agony are awesome. And I'm glad that Gates of Agony, I figured they would be in this tournament, but when they didn't put things out, I was like, please don't pull Khan from Ashe so that Gates of Agony can wrestle tonight or wrestle on Saturday. I was like, please don't. I really want to see this match. And I guess it's a good thing they didn't because Khan won the title. And so maybe Khan was like, no, you can't pull me. I'll wrestle next week, but not this week. But yeah, I mean, again, I like Rodeo as a team. I think they're great. They're a lot of fun. You have tag teams.
No, I get that. It's a fair point though. When you already have pre-existing tag teams, you should be pushing them. If you're going to have a tag team tournament and get serious about tag team wrestling again, then it makes more sense to put the actual tag teams in there and not.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
So yeah, Nikki said the same thing.
Yep.
But yeah, especially because I haven't had a chance to watch ROH, but Workhorsemen wrestled the Outrunners this week. So they're at least back on ROH television, which makes me think they probably were in Chicago and you could have used them. But because Brad says, my guess is Bandito is being placed with Brody to take the spot of Buddy since they can't come back yet. They've been teaming for about a month. Sure, but they're not a real tag team. Not when you have, and Bandito already has the title. He does not need to compete for tag titles when he already is an ROH champion, where you have other tag teams that are not being used. Yeah, and I know. Yeah, Julia has her new trio, so Hounds of Hell appears to be done. I'm sure they'll be done until Buddy gets back. But again, there was no time frame because Buddy said the last update we got was his foot was not healing in the way that they expected, and there was no timetable for his return. So yeah, Sons of Texas they could have used, but also I guess because Dustin is focusing on the TNT title, that they're kind of leaving ROH tag team titles on ROH, which that's a concept. And then Nikki said it's a given I want workhorsemen used, but imagine having GYV on your roster and not using them. Yeah, I don't understand this, especially because GYV were like they had 3 titles in other companies. Like and I know they've got like a wrestling school and stuff like that, but I don't understand why you signed GYV to not use them because they are healthy. Sweet. I just saw them wrestle 3 weeks ago. I watched them wrestle. Sons of Texas is only 2 people. That is Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, and then the Von Erichs are with Dustin as trio champions. But Sons of Texas is specifically, unless they've changed it, it is specifically Dustin and Sammy. The Von Erichs are not a part of that, unless they have changed things. Because I've missed the last 2 episodes of ROH I have to catch up on because it is G1 season, and that has been my priority. But I have now 2 nights. I know I missed yesterday's episode. I don't know if there was a show today too. So the last one I saw was Friday's. I guess technically Friday's show was the last one, and so I've somehow been able, mostly because I was off the internet yesterday. I have not been spoiled on Saturday's matches, and so that's why I'm sure Brad may know if there was a show this morning. I'm not sure if there was a show this morning or if they had an off day.
I can't remember. I have been so not caught up with it because I've been doing real life school stuff that it's
right.
like,
but yes,
but I'm done with that now. Yay!
You did it.
I did it. I'm a licensed insurance agent now, everybody.
Okay. Okay, thank you. There was a show this morning. So yeah, there's the Death Riders too.
Oh yeah. Yep. Although I was really sort of mad because last night they made the Hangman Moxley rematch.
Oh, on Wednesday? I mean, they do that. They do blow off matches all the time.
They're making everybody stay in the back. So
it's not. I think people are reading way too much into this. They do this. I was just
confused as to why they're doing it.
But that's what they do. They do blow off matches, and I think that's the point. Is they want to have, just some that Mox. I think Mox is going to put Hangman over clean. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Hangman is going to definitively beat him, and they're going to be done with it. Unless this is where, I don't think so. I was going to say, unless this is where Eddie Kingston comes back and he comes for John, and he costs John Moxley. I guess that's a possibility, but I think he's going to put Hangman over clean. And I don't know why people are freaking the hell out. By timeline, I was like, calm down. They do this. This is what they do. Relax. This isn't the other company.
But yeah, you're right. You're
not going to belt Hangman at all.
It is what they do. Oh, I know they're not going to have him beat him or anything. I'm not worried about that. I was just I wasn't sure what. But then Bob was like, well,
freaking
everyone's banned from ringside. And I was like, okay, fine.
People are freaking out. People were freaking out that Heyman was that Mox was going to win the title back on Wednesday.
Come on.
Got to relax.
Okay,
that is
that's
not what's
a little
happening.
Over the top. I was just
they've done this. I guess I get the argument that this was that was a Texas death match. That should be the end of it. But they have done this multiple times where they have it. They have a title match and then they have a blow off match to officially end it the following week. So I don't.
Maybe Eddie does come back and put a big fat.
But on the other hand, I do get it. A Texas death match should ideally be the end of it. He beat him. We should be done. But I don't. I think it's fine. People, not you. People were on. I saw so many tweets saying that they thought that John Moxley was going to win the title back. And I was like, are you new here? John Moxley only won the title back a couple times because he had no choice because there were injuries and various other things.
It was either one situation was literally crisis and the
Right.
other was injuries. Because one of a certain person who will stay unnamed was hangry.
Right. Yeah, so I was like, it's fine, people. It's gonna be okay.
He had a hangry press conference and everything changed.
Right, exactly. So John Moxley is due for, I mean, I don't know, he might not ever be getting a vacation at this point. He's never getting a vacation. Especially if Eddie is on the way back. But Ed, speaking of Eddie, he posted a couple days ago on Instagram. He posted a picture of himself and John Moxley, which just adds to the theory that I've had for months. That Eddie Kingston is coming for John Moxley, and he is going to be the one to effectively end the Death Riders, or he's going to at least try his damnedest. He is coming for John Moxley. I've been saying this for months. And Eddie, so I was like, will he come back as soon as this Wednesday? Perhaps he does, and he coughs. You know, the time frame would match up. They originally, when he was injured, the time frame was he would come back in August. August 1st is Friday. I mean, maybe it won't be so soon. Maybe he comes back at Forbidden Door, which would be great. But maybe that's why they're doing the match now.
Makes sense.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but
he just does things, but it's not the first time.
And I mean, I don't want to spoil the match for you, but I'm really glad that because I had like a moment last night on Collision where I thought there was a chance that an ROH title was going to be.
Oh, she's not losing that title.
But I was reminded again, because on this week's live thread in our Discords, I think it was Jeremy or Steven asked me how many days how close she was. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. It's coming up in August. So I was like, it was a good match.
Oh, so apparently.
But I was like, if they do that, I will actually hear the explosion.
I jokingly told Nikki last night when we got home, I was like, well, no, but I don't have a bunch of tweets, so I know Athena retained her title.
That would have got spoiled for you.
Like, I assumed that she was going to retain.
Yeah,
but
of course.
So like, well, I didn't get a bunch of tweets from that. And so, so they apparently the reason Death Before Dishonor got moved up from September 5th to August 29th is because Tony Khan is going to a wedding on September the 5th, and he's never missed an AEW or ROH show in existence, and so he didn't want to miss the show, and he pushed the show a week so that he could go to the wedding that he had already committed to. And apparently, according to Dave Meltzer, that is the reason. A Wrestling Observer, that is the reason that show got bumped up a week, is because Tony wanted to be in two places at once. And so I don't think he will, especially knowing this, but I swear if Tony makes Athena drop that title at 993 days, I am going to fly and find him. Or I'll just send Workhorseman after him.
Your next scrum is going to be very interesting, Mr. Khan.
You know, they generally do a media call a couple days before the ROH pay-per-views like they do the AEW one. So
there you go. Well,
she'll still have the title going into that media scrum, but if she does not have it going into the media scrum because she dropped it at 993 days, it's gonna be fun. They're gonna be like, don't call on her. Don't even invite her to this call.
Yeah.
Lose her invitation.
That would be bad.
To lose her invitation to this call.
That would be bad. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please. She's looking great though. That was
I will write this man a strongly worded letter. I will find a way. I know people who know him. I will make sure I will have them hand deliver it to that man. I will find I know
you will.
Know him. I will find a way to get a handwritten note to him. I will do all of those things. Like,
I will
write in my living room. I will complain on Twitter for days and on this very podcast, and I will write a strongly worded letter.
I believe Sam has the mammaries for this, or the ovaries for this.
I will.
Toni Storm is my favorite person. She gets better every time. She makes me laugh so much. I love.
I know. I
love,
almost
love
watched
it.
the promo she cut last night because I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, "No, I'm just gonna watch it."
No, you should watch the whole
Just watch
thing.
it live.
It's so much. It was a really good show. Last night's Collision was really good.
Of course, and I knew that was going to happen. I was
that's
like,
okay. You were
because I
live
wasn't
wrestling.
covering Collision. I mean, Collision has been really good lately, anyway. But then I was like,
You'll
I
watch
kind of
it.
got Collision because I got Khan, even though Khan would not be in a Collision main event.
Live
probably.
wrestling is always the best. Don't worry,
Yes.
you're good.
Yes.
You can always. The cool part of living in 2025, there are a couple of cool things about it, and one is that you can watch that back at your time frame.
Yes,
you know.
So I will probably.
Because you and Nikki don't have enough wrestling to watch. Already.
No, I was gonna say, even though I now have 2 days of G1 to catch up on, even though they are shorter because they're the split nights now. So we're not watching the tag matches. I'm watching tournament matches only because that's all I have time for. Because that still takes up a good 2 hours watching the tournament matches. And now there's even less tournament matches because Gabe Kidd had to forfeit.
Yep.
He hyperextended his knee, and after the first match, he was supposed to wrestle Zach, and he thought he was going to be able to be cleared, so he just went ahead and forfeit that match, had a couple days off, and then he had to withdraw from the tournament completely. The points they will be, awarded as it goes. So the B block now is 4 matches a night instead of 5 because of that. And so the update that they had yesterday was that they initially thought that he tore his MCL, but it ended up just being a hyperextension. Still, they felt it was best. New Japan felt it was best to have Kidd removed from the tournament. With someone like Kidd withdrawn, this causes natural shifts in the tournament. Now that he's forfeited all of his matches, as a result, this affects the plans for the standings. However, it was specified to us by New Japan sources that they didn't believe he was slated for the semifinal. So as a result, that ended up helping ease some of the things and adjusting, what they were doing.
So he wasn't part of the final rounds plan.
Is what it sounds like. He was not planned to be.
Fortunately, he wasn't going to be a long-term participant in the storyline. Hopefully, I guess.
Right. And so,
but they do probably want to keep him healthy since he's wrestling people like Tana and Kenny.
Right.
And he's a big deal right now.
Right. Exactly. So, so that's what they did there. And so the tournament, I know there has been a lot of talk about the turnout, the turnout for these G1 matches, because apparently the show a couple nights ago, only 1,000 people paid, and that was down 1,000 from the year before. And so people have been like, oh, and of course they want to play. They're like, oh, well, there's no stars. Oh, Naito, which yes, these are all accurate, but also I don't know what I don't know what the economy situation is like there, and if that is
I was going to say.
Factor,
as a matter of fact, so my New Japan subscription pulled recently, and it was only $4.50, which means the yen is doing terrible.
I saw that they charged me, but I didn't pay attention because so I didn't pay attention.
I saw the price decrease and went, did they lower the price for it? And I went on the website, and the price is the same, which means that the yen, and they were in recession, remember? They announced that they were going into recession last year.
Right.
So that's less than half of what I was paying even a month or two earlier, because it was basically $9.
Right. And so that's why I was wondering, because I'm sure, not that I don't Naito being gone, I'm sure does have an effect, but you would think
it's the economy. The economy
Tana
is
on his retirement tour. You would think people would be paying to see Tana's final matches. And then that's what I wondered, because I was like,
they're trading with people right now that they're trading with countries that they don't like right now. It's because they have to, because of how the economy is working.
That's what I wondered when I saw all this, because people were losing their, because it's the wrestling internet, and so of course, they're always losing their mind about something
weird.
How much of this is I was like, yes, accurate that Naito's gone, accurate that we need to build some more stars, but also is the economy
just a loud part of the internet?
I was like, isn't the economy part of the reason like this is happening? I believe
Definitely. I feel
and
like it's. I mean, just from a purely statistical economics standpoint, it's got to be the economy. We're all struggling. Like, what's going on right now?
right. And like
The
you said, that's
market
why I
hates
thought that they were in a
uncertainty.
recession. That they had announced that they were in a recession. So I was like, I think it's
Yeah,
a
and
lot
now
of
it's
factors.
affecting because again, I just look because it comes off of my credit card that has the no fees for foreign
Right.
transaction type deals.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly paying attention, and I'm a nerd about that stuff, you know. But I was like, what? Did they lower the price? And I went on there and I was like, oh no, that means that the yen is performing really badly against the dollar.
The dollar is weakened too.
That's what I was saying, against the dollar, which is not doing so hot.
And the dollar is already weak. So yeah, not a great time financially for Japan. So I think not that these don't need to be addressed. Like they need to address lack of fans due to Naito and people not needing superstars. Those are all accurate, but we also need to include the argument that the economy is also factoring into the low attendance rates. And it's unfortunate that they're having these low attendance rates in such a great tournament. This tournament has been very good. They've had, I don't even think there's really even been bad matches. I mean, there's been matches that I don't care about just because there are wrestlers that I don't care about. Because I don't care about evil matches. I know Tai Chi has gotten better, but I still don't really. Tai Chi's like, I'm
ironically one of the few matches
I'm not watching this tournament for Tai Chi. I'll just put it that way. Good for him that he's doing well. But but they've had there's at least one match every single night that is really, really good. And like, usually it's 2 or 3 of these matches are really, really good. And like, it's unfortunate that, a lot of people that's what people are focusing on is the lack of, surprise, wrestling fans are paying attention to ticket sales rather than the matches themselves.
Sam, didn't you know that, so that's now the brain geniuses on Twitter are economics majors this week.
Yeah, I've heard.
They're always the brain geniuses on the socials are always at the top cutting edge in the experienced fields of engineering and software and medical science and economics and I mean I think seriously, because like if you look at it statistically, like the number of people who are eligible to vote in our country is like, it's like of that number, only something like 40% actually shows up. So it's like, really, it's like the loud minority that seems to be running the gaff all over the place right now.
Yeah.
And it's like the thing where like Tony Schiavone says something factual and people decide that they're going to turn it into like, people, can I please, I beg of you, stop death threatening people.
Never
do it anyway.
No.
But there's really important stuff going on. It's never okay to death threaten anybody for any reason on the internet or anywhere. But
no, not
especially not for just saying a sentence that's a fact. Like, stop, please.
Yeah.
Go outside, make a friend.
People don't talk to people. Spend too much time behind screens thinking they can just say anything, but there's no way in hell you'd say that stuff to people's faces.
Exactly.
You are not going to death threat people to their face.
Never, ever.
Shut up.
And you know what? If you have friends out in the real world, you aren't going to have time to be sitting around making death threats at people.
You shouldn't be, no.
I mean,
you should not be. Hopefully you're not sitting with your group of friends making death threats to people.
I don't think that you can. I think you'd be too, but like if you're sitting with a group of friends, you're horsing around or you're talking about silly shit, like you're not death threatening people. And if you are, then you're horrible people. But it needs to stop. So much of this stuff is like perpetuated. And of course it's clickbait and we all know. And sometimes I don't mind, like if it's helping our algorithm, but sometimes I'm just like, you're not new. You're not saying anything different. I see a tweet and I'm like, I can tell you exactly what everything underneath this tweet says. Just quiz me. I'll tell you what it says.
Half the times I just don't read because I don't in my own articles, I don't read the replies. No. And I'm sure because I wrote about Hogan's death for Daily DDT about the Twitter reactions, and I didn't sugarcoat it to make things nice. And I'm sure there are all kinds of replies to that article that I'm not going to read, but
Well,
I'm
that's
also,
okay, Sam. That just means you're doing your job. As I tell
yeah, I was
all
like,
of
I'm
you
also
every
not going to lie
time,
about it either.
if
So,
you are pissing
I'm not
people
reading
off,
this.
or as BJ likes to remind us, is that if you are not pissing someone off, you are not doing your job. So,
Right, exactly.
and
So,
because he knows full well, because he.
yes, he absolutely does. Yeah, and right. So I didn't see this because I think on Friday's show I just jumped straight to the tournament matches, so I didn't see. I had already heard that Gabe was not in it. That kid apparently was laying into Takeshita after he announced he had been pulled out in ring, hopefully as part of a setup for a feud rather than just a reactionary shoot. Injury sucks and it's unfortunate. Yeah, I didn't see that, and because I went straight to the tournament, which is one of the nice things about New Japan is I can go straight to the tournament matches. I don't have to.
Yeah, I like the new setup
get
now.
through everything to get to what I need to see. So that is
Yeah.
so I missed that, and somehow I've not seen a clip of that on the internet. So thank you for that because I did not know that had happened. So I assume it's setting up for a feud, especially because of the relationship they have. I assume that they'll.
Yeah, I mean they're already kind of feuding anyway. So
before Tana retires, I feel like that's a match he would like to have because he was one of the people when Gabe was struggling with his mental health. Tana was someone he was speaking to on a daily basis. So I'm sure that's a match that they're going to want to have. I assume that's what's happening, but you never know with wrestling. Sometimes could be that. Yeah, definitely. Crash is definitely a combination of factors. Cost of living seems pretty taboo to raise as a very real factor for some strange reason, which is weird because we're all living in a time where we're having issues on various levels of being
it's
able to
almost
afford
like
things.
The current economic system is an unsustainable model for the mass.
Yeah, and apparently it's a worldwide thing too. Who knew?
Weird. Who knew?
Who knew? And it's affecting the wrestling.
Globalizing.
Which is affecting the wrestling here, which we've talked about. We literally just talked about last week about families getting priced out of wrestling. We've talked about it even with AEW when they were in the UK, and then they doubled their prices last year, and they also priced people out of certain things. But then all in this year of extremely affordable tickets. So it is an ongoing conversation with things. But as the economy continues to do what it does, and some people are gonna be priced out no matter how much tickets cost.
Well, and you can't,
when you are driving up the prices, like especially for your pay-per-views like your SummerSlams and your WrestleManias, that's a problem.
When you can't plan, and this is really important to underlying businesses, you can't plan long-term stuff with the level of uncertainty because you don't know that you're going to wake up tomorrow and then it's going to have completely changed.
Right.
So how do you plan as any kind of business owner when you don't know that tomorrow you're going to wake up and something's going to cost 700% more, or a venue is going to be unavailable to you for whatever reason because of deals? There's so many ripples going on right now that I think it's unrealistic to just blame it all on House of Torture. And I mean,
sure, are they a factor? Probably.
It probably doesn't help.
The Japanese fans
like that
apparently are into the House of Torture. The Western fans not so much, and they have to cater to the Japanese fans who are buying tickets to their show. They're not catering to me and you. They're catering to the fans who are hopefully going to buy tickets to those shows. And so we have to deal with House of Torture because it appears that unless they're starting to grow tired of them, apparently they like the House of Torture.
Good and great. And that's great. So that's going to keep selling.
But I mean, sure, these are all factors, but I think it's not just one thing.
It's too easy. But
I think I think the economical future reason has to be talked about because it's not just Ghetto's booking is a little crazy, and that it has been for a while. And sure, that definitely, all of these things are true, but so is the economy. And we have to have, I'm not seeing that conversation when people are screaming online about low ticket sales in Japan. They're not saying, oh, what's the economy like there? Is the economy great? Oh, wait, most of them probably, and I realize most of them don't realize that Japan declared themselves to be in a recession last year. But if you feel the pinch at home, likely other places are also feeling the pinch, and they're having to decide, do I go to wrestling or do I do something else?
Like eat or keep my lights on or something like that.
Right. So
really,
I think it's all of the things, and
I think we're all, as humans, are right now, as working humans, the mass majority of us are really have to make tough decisions every day about our personal monetary policies.
Yes.
It's just, you just don't know. It's so out there, and it's unfortunate because, like you said, because G1 is such a great time of year,
It
and
is,
it's so
and this
much
tournament
fun.
has
And
been
there
very,
are,
very good.
I mean, the few matches I have seen have been awesome, and I'm excited to watch Shingo and Takeshita. I want to check that out.
Yes,
so.
Yuya had a really good match the other night against. Why did I just blank on who it was? It's on. I've been talking about, and I just because I'm not tweeting about it because I'm trying to spend more time on the Blue Sky. So I am posting about G1 over on Blue Sky. That's where I'm doing. That's where I'm talking about things. But yeah, there's been really great matches every night. I heard that I haven't gotten. Obviously, that's not. I think that's on the Saturday show. But I heard Zach versus ELP was very, very good. And I saw Josh from We Work Stiff was saying that if they gave ELP some direction, he could be a top star if they would like book him.
Wow.
Because the matches, he has it in him. He was like, last year he had the really great match against Takeshita.
Yeah.
This year it's against Zach. If they could book him properly and get him, like figure out what to do with him, he could be.
He's been leveling up a lot.
Really big for them, and he's been great in this tournament. So
the last
really
couple of years he's been
ELP.
leveling up big.
Yeah, yeah. That's
not that he wasn't even. I mean, one of my favorite matches is still like many years old with him in it. So
right, yeah,
nice.
And see, and another reason of go back to the tag tournament going back to the tag tournament for a moment. I was thinking about I'm not surprised that FTR won, but Jet Speed I thought would have made a lot of sense to put them on Forbidden Door when they've both wrestled in BOSJ. Kevin Knight's been in the last 3. Speedball was in it last year. The fans both really seem to love them. So I thought, Jet Speed would make a lot of sense to put in. And I know, and they haven't had their official shot at the title. I mean, they got the 3-way shot against the Hurt Syndicate, but they didn't get a 1-on-1 shot. I was like, this would make sense to put them in this to let them win this tournament because it would be on the Forbidden Door card. Japanese fans were hopefully watching this card. They like those two. Let's put them in there. But no, that's not what happened. They lost in the first round. So maybe they'll find their way onto the card somewhere else. But I just originally, when I was watching it the other night, I was like, that would make a lot of sense to put that there. Crash said that absolutely ELP is just a sideshow crowd pleaser type at the minute. He's a great worker, but could level up more too, in my opinion. Not sure if at 38 or whatever, that's a difficult thing to muster at this stage, in the stage of his career. I mean, yeah, that's fair. I mean, sure. I don't know that FTR. I mean, I haven't watched the rest of the tournament. They could do FTR, but if they're pushing Gates of Agony because of Ricochet, I could see Gates of Agony winning the tournament and getting the title shot at Forbidden Door, depending on Ricochet and what he's doing at Forbidden Door. This might be a way. I mean, maybe they do just a trios match, and that's how they get all 3 of them, or maybe that's how they get them all on there. But I'm wondering. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they're doing FTR versus the Hurt Syndicate because, like Maria said, they are doing the Cope Christian thing. But also, Gates of Agony, I think, are about to they seem like they're getting used more often because of the Ricochet stuff. So perhaps you have Gates of Agony get a title shot. I mean, of course, they're probably going to lose. So maybe you don't want to do that now. Or maybe they do it at All Out or something like. Well, no, they're going to do the other thing at All Out. So yeah, it'll be. I just hope that. I will say this: FTR and Cope and Christian does not need to be for tag team titles. That title does not need to be anywhere near that match. They don't need those titles to have this match. You can have it without it. And I do not want FTR having those titles going in against Cope and Christian. I don't think they're going to put the belt. I mean, maybe they are going to belt Cope and Christian, but then what's the point of going from Hurt Syndicate, having FTR hold it for a month and then turn around and losing it to Cope and Christian? We're already having problems with the tag team titles as they are. Why They don't have to have the titles. We could
Which
just
would have them winning it in Canada, though, right?
right. But we need to have we that match doesn't have to have a title. Just like John Moxley and Eddie Kingston does not need a title. You don't have to have a title to do Cope and Christian and FTR, because I don't. How do you? Does anybody? I mean, and I say this as somebody who loved Edge and Christian, but do we need a Cope and Christian tag title reign in 2025? Is that something that do we need that?
Maybe I don't, but maybe the
Like,
Canadian.
and I say that again as somebody who loves Edge and Christian. They besides the Hardys, like they were my favorite. Like I love them, but I don't know that I need that in 2025. I don't know that that's what I need. I mean, I'm sure there's nostalgia, and maybe I would feel differently if they won the titles.
That's the other side. Although I guess aren't they pretty? Is All Out? It's All Out. That's in Canada, right?
Yes, it's September the 20th in Toronto, which is why they're definitely doing FTR and Cope and Christian in Toronto. That's absolutely happening. But then that would mean if that's what they're doing, then Hurt Syndicate would drop the titles at Forbidden Door. And then FTR would turn around and drop those titles to Cope and Christian a month later. The only reason not even a month later.
The FTR thing would work is that I do think that the British crowd loves them still, because they don't get. But because they remember they had that Aussie Open FTR match at Royal Quest a few years back, and that was a big deal there. Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering if this is like booking for London and not. You know what I'm saying? It might.
Yeah, and then you're booking for London, but then you're turning around and booking for Toronto. So then what? Like you can't. Book
I'm not saying it's right.
You can't have. I'm just saying you can't drop the title every single month because you're going to a certain city. You can't. Like that's.
I mean, I don't agree with the logic necessarily, or that it's the best way to go about storytelling. But I wouldn't be surprised.
I guess I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think FTR and Cope and Christian don't have to have the titles to do this match when they've got the story because FTR screwed over Cope. That's the story. And then Christian told Cope to go fuck himself and
go find himself.
Well, that's what I mean. Christian told Cope that. And then Christian went and created the patriarchy. And so the story is there without a title. Like you don't have to have it.
Yeah.
If that's what they're doing. But then, if they do that, you will have it in 2025. Hope and Christian with the tag team titles, while the Hardy Boys currently have the tag team titles. And then I guess Nikki and I, we both, so Slammiversary, I did not watch, but I heard, and I forgot to message him. I almost messaged Mike Gilbert to ask him if he wanted to come on the show today to talk about what the hell TNA is doing. Because it doesn't make any sense. And I'll get to some more of that in a second. But the whole reason I brought this up was the Hardy Boys won the titles back at Slammiversary. Bully Ray immediately comes and challenges them and says that him and Devon want a shot at those titles.
The Dudleys?
And I was like, who asks for this match? And my friend said, Bubba Ray. He probably went to the back and was
True story.
Need this
Your
match.
friend's probably not wrong.
Devon has said this will be his final match. Like we were all joking. People were joking, saying Devon's sitting at home on the couch like the rest of us, wondering why did I get put in this match?
WTF.
But Nikki said, and Nikki was like, she was like, Bully Ray saw Cope and Christian are getting back together, and so he wants 3D to have a match too.
There's a lot of. So I heard that Mercury is in retrograde. I needed you to explain that to me because I'm wondering if it has some connection to. I'm not usually into this, but I'm willing to believe anything at this point.
Listen, so Mercury retrograde typically, so it's not actually from the Earth. Mercury appears to be spinning backwards. Obviously not, but from here, that's what the perception looks like. Typically, Mercury retrograde happens 3 times a year, and when it does, it brings up things from the past for us to re-review. Some people fearmonger, but most astrologers that I follow who don't use astrology to fearmonger, and they don't use it as reasons to explain people's bad behavior. What they use it for is what's happening in the sky as a mirror of what's happening on Earth. That's how they use astrology, and that's how I use astrology. So, but when the Mercury retrograde happens, typically there are technology problems and communication issues are the two biggest things that typically happen. So I have had lots of technology issues so far in this Mercury retrograde. I've had,
the sun has been firing off like fours and fives for the last year or so.
Yes,
the sun has been very excited the last year or so.
Yeah, so emails don't send, emails go to the wrong person. Text messages from people you don't want to hear from happen. You can't post to the social media. That has happened to that's typical. But also, so things from the past do come forward and you re-review it. So perhaps Mercury retrograde is playing into this because we are in 2025, we are going back to 1999.
1990. I know this is member berries. That's why I was asking, because I was like, there's a lot of member berries right now.
Yes.
And yes. I don't know. It's because there's all the weird stuff going on with sports, and it's all the streaming people are behind, so they're buying it. Yeah, it's very invasion of the 90s. It very much is. There's even an advertisement out there.
Obviously, history does repeat itself, whether it's in bad things or fashion trends repeat. A lot of the things that were popular in the early 2000s are now coming back in fashion now. And things that were popular in the 90s were popular fashion trends in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, the 80s have been back for a while now. I find it hilarious.
And now the children have 2000 themes birthday party, which is super offensive. That you were having that you were having 2000 Sunny, before she passed, Sunny's birthday, she had her 10th birthday party was a 90s theme, which was offensive to me. And so now the early 2000s are now party. People have, the younger folk are having 2000 having Y2K parties, which is
okay.
Sad.
That's
very
kind
sad
of
day.
It's sad and kind of hilarious all at the same time, because Y2K was such a big work to begin with that it's just,
right.
I mean,
that was actually, and it was on Righteous Gemstones, the last season, which was the final season. They referenced Y2K and something that was happening, which was perfect because
they were selling those buckets.
Yes, because the churches were
buckets.
because some of the churches were fear mongering and using.
And those ads though are back on TV and YouTube. I've been seeing them lately. I'm like, okay, cotton is advertising again. Meat is advertising again, and I'm seeing these we heard an ad. I'm not kidding. We heard an ad for the
Nikki
psychic.
Corrected me. That was season 3, but still, regardless,
we knew what you were talking about.
Yes,
the psychics. We heard a
you told me about that
commercial, and we heard it again on our native radio station. That's our local sports talk radio station.
Yeah, I mean,
TF is happening right now.
People are grasping for nostalgia because of the times.
How scary it is out there, and it's too much.
The times, so they're going back to their nostalgia because
either going back to nostalgia or they're blaming it on the end times, because that's easier. It's easier to either be nostalgic or to blame it on something.
We get blamed. Our generation gets blamed for everything now.
Well, no, millennials are the reason everything is wrong.
That's what I'm saying. That we get blamed for all of this.
You are responsible for 70 years of bad policy, and you weren't even thought of for 60 of it.
Right.
So,
right. It's all our fault.
The one thing that my parents' generation will never do is take responsibility for their actions.
No, never. What is that? We don't do that here.
We don't do that here. Personal responsibility. Don't go around the boomers. No offense to any of you that might be out there angry at your own generation too.
I do want to talk about so while we're on the topic of Slammiversary, brief. Again, I didn't watch. I did see. I heard that that they opened the show with Mustafa versus Cedric, and I heard that was a really incredible match. And I did see many times Tasha still took a lumbar check, very similar to the time that Candice LeRae took one. But but Tasha, I can tell you, she made a full recovery as she was at Ashe last night. So she made a full recovery, had a match. So good thing Cedric wasn't there. But Tasha was trying to get Swole pulled off of commentary. I guess because Swole is Cedric's wife and didn't want her on commentary.
Eh,
But so I heard that match was really good. And then, so the main event was Mike Santana versus Joe Hendry versus Trick Williams. Trick Williams is obviously in NXT. He is the current TNA World Champion. He was defending that title in New York. 8,000 people there. It was on Long Island. And I saw tweets like John Alba was there. Lots of people with Puerto Rican flags because Mike Santana is Puerto Rican. A lot of great buzz because everybody thought Mike Santana was winning that title. Not what happened. Joe Hendry got pinned. He apparently threw Mike Santana out of the ring, pinned Joe Hendry to retain the title. And the fans were rightfully pissed. Mike Santana, again, I've not been keeping up with TNA as closely. I've heard Santana has had an incredible run in TNA, especially because, his run in AEW did not turn out so great. He kind of got to reinvent himself. Fans love him. He will probably still eventually be TNA champion, but you cannot recreate that moment that they would have had at their biggest show they've ever had, or at least the biggest show they've had in years, I guess is what it was. In front of his hometown crowd, in front of many Puerto Ricans who wanted to see their guy win, and you leave that title on a WWE champion. So WWE now has, or NXT now has their main titles because JC Jane beat Masha Slamovich for the Knockouts title. So the Knockouts title is now in NXT, and JC Jane has 2 titles because she has a title in NXT. So TNA, this relationship is going great with WWE, and that WWE has the 2 main titles from TNA.
So what, they're just stripping TNA down and pretending that that's not what's happening, and
that's what it appears like.
That's what from our commenters here, it all appears that they agree with the idea that WWE
appears that apparently the theory I have seen is they're setting up an invasion angle, and TNA is going to invade NXT to get their titles back, is apparently what people are assuming the plan is. It's not great. And then apparently on NXT on Tuesday, Santino Marella he challenged Trick to get the title back. So Santino Marella, who is not even a wrestler in TNA, he is a commissioner, is going to be competing for a title apparently at NXT's next show or their next pay-per-view or something. I don't know. It sounds like a hot mess, and the TNA wrestlers deserve better than this. And I guess TNA pretty much I don't know how you look at this and don't see that it doesn't look like WWE is buying them, because it just all signs glaringly point to the fact that they're being bought.
We've seen this happen before. We've literally seen this happen.
Right. And, there was the people, a lot of people complained when TNA and AEW had the relationship when they put the title on Kenny, but Kenny brought that when Kenny was their champion, those 2 or 3 pay-per-views were the best pay-per-view buys they had in their entire existence. They had their best pay-per-view buys when Kenny Omega was their champion. Could AEW have done more for TNA? Absolutely. I still we never got the women's matches that we wanted. Like Deonna was in TNA at the time. She wanted to come wrestle in AEW and wrestle for their championship. Jordan Grace also wanted that. When I went to Double or Nothing, I specifically asked Tony, would we see more WWE wrestlers in TNA? At the time, he told me the plan was for Private Party to go over to TNA. That never happened. So, there are definitely some things that AEW could have done better. However, WWE is doing pretty much the same thing, if not worse, because they're taking their titles. And so, I don't know, it sucks. And I really hope WWE is not buying TNA, because we need a third viable place for people to go, because AEW cannot take everybody that WWE releases. WWE does releases once a quarter at this point. They cannot all come to AEW. Mm-hmm. And So they need a viable third option to have somewhere to go to make decent money and to still be on TV. And so we need TNA to exist outside of WWE. Because if WWE takes them on, that goes back to the conversation we had last week about TKO and how they do things with tickets. And then they're going to make as much money as they can and then sell them off. And then what are you going to do with TNA? And then you also have the AAA WWE stuff on top of that. It's just sounds like a monopoly to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really, I don't know. It seems weird just because, like, yeah, I don't know. It just, I don't like it. I don't like the idea of that happening.
Ugh,
and
gross.
The ECW, yeah, it's just gross.
Gross. Yeah, and then let me get to some of the comments that we have over here. Hang on. Yes. Yeah, Robert, that seems, looking at this from the outside looking in, that's what it certainly appears to be.
And with their MO, I mean, that's their history. That's them in a nutshell, is coming in and just taking, either buying you out or absorbing you or integrate. I mean, it was like, yeah.
Yeah. Ali actually addressed this. He says that he was like, I hate to pull back the curtain. He said that he flipped on somebody, and that's why he missed, and he said it was nobody's fault. According to, that's what most of us have happened. Yeah, I agree that booking NXT talent to win these titles is terrible. Brad says Santana's contract expires in October. He's never winning the TNA title as the TNA roster member. He'll sign with WWE, be sent to NXT, and then finally win the title, which is stupid. He should have won it. I don't care what their reasoning is. He should have won.
This makes me wonder if WWE is essentially having a little bit of buyer's remorse with the fact that they don't have anything on television, and the Netflix prices keep going up. The economy sucks. People.
Well, they do. SmackDown's on TV. SmackDown is still on USA.
But that's only one ad revenue.
Oh, and the numbers. The numbers for NXT for Raw on Netflix are not great. There was a report out about it, depending on who you listen to. One tried to paint it a very positive light. The other one was like, no. And then there was a graphic, and WWE is not nearly as high. It was like a graphic from like January to May, I think it was. And they were barely middle of the pack as what is being like the most watched show, and their numbers are not great. They're not.
The problem too is that Netflix is expensive. I think people went with the assumption that literally everyone had Netflix, which was a silly assumption because not everyone can even afford Netflix. Like, we have a massive homeless problem here, let alone, being able to afford Netflix. So, and then every month pretty much, or every quarter for the last 2 years, they've essentially raised their prices till now. It's it's $17 or $18 a month for the ads package.
That's if you want the ad-free version, and it's $7.99 with ads. And so I had to, because other things were raising their prices too, I had to drop my Netflix back to drop mine back to $7.99, and but I have to have it because I cover Raw. I mean, we watch other things on Netflix.
Obviously,
so
us too.
We were subscribed to Netflix well before
Raw. Yes.
Well, we were Netflix subscribers way back when they sent you DVDs in the mail.
Yeah, I remember. That's hilarious.
We've been subscribers on and off for a really long time.
We did Gamefly too.
But now I have to keep it because I cover it. But they increased their prices. So if you want the ad-free version, the lowest rate is $17.99, and then there's another tier higher than that, and it's $24.99. And then the lowest one is $7.99. And Peacock used to be, and when it was on Peacock, you still have to go to Peacock to watch the pay-per-views. So.
And unless you're someone like me who has the high-end cable, which is not always
But I heard that Peacock, I don't subscribe to Peacock. I have a friend who does, so I just use his.
I don't subscribe to it, but I get it.
He's nice enough to let me use his subscription, but I think Peacock is getting ready to raise their prices.
They
I don't
are
remember.
still
I don't know.
free with, they're still
don't
free with my level of internet. It's because I get the super gamer internet, so they just give it to me. So, but otherwise, I wouldn't have it at all. I wouldn't care.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't think it was like a huge price increase, like maybe $3 or $4, but still in the time when everything else is going up, and you're especially in subscriptions, like it's not great. I mean, I guess it's still cheaper. I mean, you're still getting, if you're watching Peacock for pay-per-views, like obviously it's still a good buy. You're not paying $50 for.
But you've got cable companies like my Xfinity right now. They have a package that has Netflix, Apple TV, and Peacock in it that you can add to your digital cable subscription. It's becoming cable. It's because all these people they're behind on streaming. Sports is now moving to streaming. So people are trying to like, well, I because sports is like the one thing that people still tune into live pretty much. But now they're going to these networks and it's like, okay, but how are people going to afford this? I think it's a short-sighted strategy. It's interesting to me watching what's going on with all these people that have scrambled around at the last minute after we were like, for years, it was like, you guys should probably get on streaming now because it's going to be the future. And they were like, no, kid, no one's going to want to watch TV on the internet. It's like, bro, TV's come preloaded with TV on the internet, internet TV now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not 10, it's been 10 years. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting and it's weird. I guess we'll just have to see. I mean,
that I haven't really noticed ads being that much of an issue because they typically, then the thing with Raw is they show ads anyway because it is even when I had the ad-free version, Raw still had ads because it was because it was live TV, so you still got the ads. And so I was like, well, if if I'm gonna see these ads, then I might as well just pay $10 less, see the ads I'm gonna see. And then, like he said, like when I'm watching other shows on Netflix, the ads are before the show. They're not like it's not like it's like he said with the movies, like it's not really that. It's not that for $7.99 I can deal with one or two ads. It's not that.
I grew up. I'm of a generation where we grew up with ads, so it's kind of funny to me because it's going backwards. It's come all the way back around.
Right.
And it's like, dude, I'm not going to spend $25 on or $35 on Disney Plus just so I can watch The Bear without.
Right. We did Hulu had an option where we did where they did a bundle thing because I did have it. I did eventually. I had it separately because I had Hulu for a while and just sometimes I would pause it when I wasn't watching it or had other things to deal with. And so, but then they bundled it with Disney at like. It was cheaper. It was $1. Only ended up being like $1 cheaper to bundle it, but
that's what I have. I have the thing through Verizon.
And then, but even before then, I had Hulu because I had stopped it for a while, and so Black Friday they had it for $2.99 for 6 months. And so if that is also a tip to you, if you have to cancel for a while and need to come back, wait till Black Friday if you can help it, because they generally have Netflix. I mean, Hulu's thing is usually $2.99 a month for 6 months. If you do it on Black Friday. And that's from November to June.
A lot of the subscriptions we're not using. Like I'm about to turn off Showtime because the only reason we have it is for Yellow Jackets and they're off right now. So I don't need it.
And so, we did that too. We would do things. We did that with Max a lot of the time. We would watch our shows and then when it was off season, we'd cancel it or pause it and then bring it back when it was time. Or because that's what I did when AEW first went to Max. I had already my subscription I had previously canceled because what I was watching was off, and so then they also did a Black Friday deal, and so that's what I did. To get that.
I mean, it's worthwhile to do it sometimes. I mean, John Muse literally admitted to a bunch of us more than once that he turns his New Japan subscriptions on and off as necessary when they're on downtimes that he can't handle. And then he just binge watches what he wanted. He keeps notes and marks down the things he needs. And then he turns it back on when he has time. And because he's got a lot going on in his life too, not just everything.
Right.
He's like, if they're not killing it and I'm busy, I just turn it off and then I turn it back on and I just binge watch all the stuff that I want.
I mean, that's smart.
And I was like, if I hadn't seen the significant drop, I was like, wow. Because again, I thought they've lowered the price, but then I went and they have not lowered the price. That's literally how the yen is doing. And wow. I mean, it's great for my pocketbook, but it's terrible for the economy overall because it sucks.
And they need subscriptions now, or like to maintain subscriptions more than ever. Like, if you cannot drop it, don't.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, that's the one. Interestingly enough, of all the subscriptions, and I mean, obviously the Netflix is the other one, but of all the other subscriptions, like I've been subscribed to New Japan since 2018, since the last since the last Omega Okada. So since Omega Okada 4, I subscribed to watch that live, and that
I subscribed. I think I used a friend's login for a little bit, and so I can't remember if I subscribed in 2017 or 2018, but I have never canceled it.
Neither.
I have.
That's the only.
Even when I wasn't watching as much, I let it. That's the one I have not ever let lapse.
Not even during the pandemic.
No, especially not during the pandemic.
Especially not then.
No, I unfortunately had that because I wasn't watching, because I used to have an IWTV subscription, but I just never used it. So unfortunately, I don't think it was during the pandemic. I think it was after the pandemic, but I had to, because I was like, I don't ever use this. So I was like, I have to, which is unfortunate because there was some good stuff on there. I just didn't have time with everything else on there. But yeah, New Japan is the only, even over Netflix and I've paused, because Hulu, you can pause up to 12 weeks at a time. Hulu, I've paused a bunch of times. I've paused other things. I've canceled things, but New Japan is the only one that I've never canceled. And even, I mean, there was even a time when I had WWE Network and I had, I had to unsubscribe a few times. But yeah, New Japan has been the one constant that they get my money every single month.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
okay with it. I feel good about it.
Yes, right, exactly. And I wanted to bring this up. We kind of moved away from the injuries, but I did want to, and we were talking, and I should have brought it up when we were talking about Colton, but there was an update on Switchblade a few days ago, and sounds like he's going to be gone for maybe through the end of the year is what the latest update is. He's obviously been at an action with a hand injury that he got injured in the match where that really great match he had with Kevin Knight. Says, however, he's not even close to a return. The sources say that Jay has also been dealing with a shoulder injury. Sources in the company have said that White has been weighing whether or not to get shoulder surgery, though we haven't heard if a decision has been made. So it is possible that he could miss the entire rest of the year. And then obviously the Bang Bang Gang has been plagued with injuries because we just got Juice back. And then Colton got injured immediately. And so now the only healthy ones are Juice and Austin. And it sounds like they're going to just move with Bang Bang Gang moving forward but we don't know. Unfortunately, we don't know anything about Colton. So we don't know if Colton's just going to be out a few more weeks or if he's going to be out longer. And so there's that. And then we even had Will Ospreay, who comes out on Dynamite and says, I have been dealing with neck issues for 10 months and I didn't tell anybody. Surprise, shocking. A wrestler keeps an injury to himself and doesn't even tell his trainers. Never heard that one before.
I'm confused about this. Is he saying that he is going to be performing at Forbidden Door this year or next year?
That's what I told him. That's the same thing. He made it seem like Forbidden Door this year. However, with the injury he says he sustained, Forbidden Door next year makes more sense. But he made it sound like he will be back for Forbidden Door this year, which is August the 24th. So less than a month away. Because this man just told Tony Schiavone that his C2 and his C6, that he has herniated discs on both of them, and he's supposed to be available for Forbidden Door in 4 weeks. Doesn't sound right to me.
So that C designation means your neck. Yep. That's your cervical spine. Right. So 2 is just right below 1, which is where your brainstem plugs in.
Yep.
Which means that one of those discs, and Bob had a herniated disc, so his was so bad that they had to clean out the nerve glide and do all these other things. They didn't even. It was like the kind of thing where they got in there and realized it was actually a little worse and had to do more stuff to it. And I'm not like, he's obviously not in the same shape as Will Ospreay, and I'm sure Will Ospreay is doing lots of like, you have to, any orthopedic, you guys know this, is you have to do PT with it because you're going to be laying around for a long time or whatever.
Right.
But you're telling me that you're going to have like neurologists do those surgeries because your spinal cord is done by neurology, not
right. And on top of this man has been flying back and forth on a weekly basis. The man still lives in the UK. He flies to the US to do his shows, flies back home week in and week out. That cannot be good for, that's not great anyway when you don't really have injuries, but being a wrestler, having just the regular aches and pains, not great. But 10 months he's been flying back and forth with these things going on.
And he's like, ouch, my neck hurts. And it's like, no, dude, you've got like tissue pushing against your nerve.
Right.
Your spinal column.
Don't risk paralysis to wrestle. And I get it. I mean, Crush
really
says
close
Forbidden Doors in the UK. He's not missing that. Then
I get that. I totally get it.
Then come be on TV. You don't have to wrestle. If you are in that shape where you are risking further damage, then Tony Khan needs to step in and shut it the fuck down. You can't. He is one of your highest paid wrestlers, one of your biggest stars. You can't let him dictate if he's going to be on TV.
Not if he's going to just. I mean, I know this because I'm an athlete too, and I'm sure JD would back me up here. We will hide injuries and just rub some dirt
but
on
he's
it.
Admitted it now. He admitted it on national television.
And that's what I'm saying is that athletes can be a detriment to themselves. That's why coaches and trainers need to step in.
Yeah.
That's where managers and coaches and
this is where Tony Khan needs to step in. This man has unfortunately let people wrestle with concussions that should not have wrestled. Alex Reynolds and Matt Hardy. And Matt Hardy's wife came and yelled at him.
Now we've got the situation with Adam Cole, which is like,
right.
What is that?
We don't need,
and we don't have the full picture of what that is, but we make the assumption that it must be something related to his neurological health.
That has been what we have heard. Is it appears to be another concussion situation.
Is that what you've gotten?
That's what was that came out 3 days later. Well, Tony basically, he pretty much said it in the media scrum, but then it was reported 3 days later that it sounds like he appears to be dealing with another concussion.
The way he was talking just sounded too much like one too many concussions.
That's how Tony, Well, Adam Cole apparently had to be talked out of not retiring
entirely that night.
Which again makes me think a doctor told him one more concussion and you're done, which is probably why he went to the extreme, and they don't know exactly what he's dealing with. And so they're like, hold on, find out what's actually going on, then make a decision. And so
and I get that because he went through such a long recovery phase that traumatizes you that he now is like looking at having to go through what he's already gone through, and that probably scares the crap out of him. And I know how that feels.
Like, 100%.
So the idea,
and I would rather
you think you're done with it, and then someone comes out and they're like, "Hi, all that shit you just went through this last year or the last few years, you're probably gonna have to go through some form of that again." I would probably freak out and want to retire too. No, I mean,
I'm
glad he has good friends back there with him.
Adam Cole has been open about what he went through, and he couldn't be in a car without getting nauseous. He said he cried all the time for seemingly no
TBI
reason.
Is terrible.
He had really, really horrible concussion symptoms, and I wouldn't want to go through that again either. That it took him a long time to get past that, and I would rather Adam Cole have a healthy, productive rest of his life than try to get back into the ring. And as much as I've been an Adam Cole fan for a long time, but I would much rather him live a healthy life than possibly risk doing that again. And Crash makes some points. I will He said if he gets surgery, talking about Will, it will need to be at the end of the year post Forbidden Door in order to be back for the build-up for All In next year at Wembley, which is very fair, and that's probably what Will is looking at. He says the tough call, but maybe they feel it's a bit short at the top of the card of Forbidden Door, and losing Ospreay for the UK would be big. Sure, but if he gets injured even worse than he already is and misses a year,
That would be
then
my concern.
I would you rather miss him for Forbidden Door, or would you rather miss him through Forbidden Door and potentially Wembley too next year because he wanted to be on this card? Like, you have to weigh. Yes, it would suck to miss Forbidden Door this year, but if he gets injured to the point where he's missing more than a year, what if it ends up being a Kenny Omega situation where he's out for, months and months and months? And so I get it, but also at some point you have to put your wrestler's health above your ticket sales. You have to. And I know he's going to give Will the opportunity, but if you go basically by what Will says, then he's going to end up wrestling. And at some point, Tony Khan has to step in and be like, it's not worth it. You need to figure out your health first, then you'll come back and wrestle. Do you want to miss Forbidden Door and Wembley, or do you just want to miss Forbidden Door and hopefully be back by Wembley? Or what if you get worse? What if you get injured to the point where you can't come back? That's also a possibility.
I mean, that's the biggest. Unfortunately, medical science is in a great place for him.
Yeah.
However, that is a ginormous injury, and that takes time and it takes recovery. Right. And there's going to be all sorts of. I had a friend recently just break his neck, and he had to wear an air cast after the original cast came off.
Right.
For weeks. He's only just coming out of it. I mean, and again, these are older people. Some of these people, they're not in Will Ospreay shape. And I mean, neck bridges maybe will save you because you can do all the PT in the world and you can be the strong, but it doesn't matter if somebody drops you on your head wrong and you've already got that tissue poking out, because that's what herniated anything is. It means that tissue is like poking out into an area. So like, what if you drop him on his head? What if he hits the post wrong? Like, I don't want to see Will Ospreay in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
Will Ospreay is a very wild wrestler, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but we know his style. We've watched him, and people have been telling him for years when he was
I would listen to Dr. Preet over
I will put that up on the screen in a minute. But people have told Will Ospreay for years, when he was in New Japan, when he was a junior, they told him he was going to have to change his style because he was going to end up seriously injuring himself or somebody else.
And he did tone it down.
He did a bit.
And he got a stronger body.
But he's also been wrestling seriously injured for 10 months and not telling anybody. Mm-hmm. So, and it's gotten to the extent that we're at now. And so, I
wonder if he would have told anybody if he hadn't had to go in for that MRI in the first place.
Most likely, I'm thinking no.
Because
and then what would have happened?
Was that he got in the MRI machine for one thing, and they saw something else entirely.
Yes, and he's been. Yeah, it just. I get it. Like, and I understand Will as an athlete not wanting to miss that show, but I mean, if it is something that you are potentially risking at least a year of your career, if you have this match and get injured even more, is it worth the risk? What if you potentially risking ending your career as well? Like, these are things you have to weigh. And I'm sure in the moment he's going to be like, let me just get this in. And if this is it, then this is it. Because some wrestlers are like that. But I don't know. At some point, Tony Khan has to step in and be like, it's not worth it. We have to do this. So, which is, what I said a minute ago, maybe he's not wrestling. If he could be there for a live appearance, which, I would not be mad at that. But Brad did say that Dr. Preet, that's in their Discord, has said that hernias, that there are hernias that he could miss 4 to 6 weeks and be totally fine. Okay. Well, then this is an issue you could have dealt with 10 months ago, William. And
I mean, okay, I hope so. I mean, for his sake, I hope he's not doing that. Yeah. I know they do, but it doesn't mean that they don't have bosses.
Right. And yes, and the Crush is right that he did say he basically did All In because that's what the business needed. All right, you did your job. You don't have to be there for Forbidden. Yes, I get it. You're the biggest British wrestler in the world. You should be on Forbidden Door. But fans are going to understand if you miss it because you're seriously injured. It's not like you're missing it because they're not booking you. You could potentially be missing it because your health is at risk. I think most fans will understand that, but I get it. But also, Will may force Tony Khan's hand. But I mean, maybe we'll see that he progresses in the next 4 to 6 weeks, and maybe he will be cleared to wrestle Forbidden Door. But then you're going to be wondering about him for the rest of the year if he's going to be. And we know wrestlers are going to target his neck because that's what heels do. So, yeah, they do all take risks. And they do, which is why they need a Tony Khan to be like, oh, that's enough risky behavior for you. Let's go have surgery, and then you can come back. I can't lose you. I'd rather lose you for a few months than lose you for 12, especially when and I'm sure Will sees, now we have lost Adam Cole, we've lost Jay White, we've lost Orange Cassidy, we've lost Buddy Matthews for who the hell knows how long.
Colton Gunn, Gabe Kidd. This is getting out of hand.
So, I get Will
you all
not
need to
wanting
stop
to do it
getting
for
hurt,
multiple reasons. But I just also, I would not want Will to risk even more and potentially being out of more time. Yeah, and Eddie Kingston's been gone for what, almost, has he been gone for I don't think it's been exactly a year, but it's been pretty damn close to it.
While,
Crash says probably no Kyle Fletcher matches against Ospreay doing brainbusters on the turnbuckle, so that's a plus.
Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably.
Speaking of injuries, Mark Davis.
Oh yeah.
We don't know. I don't know where he is. Apparently, he did pop up on the Twitter this week because they used Shark Boy and some of the Shark Week stuff on Twitter, on AEW's Twitter, and apparently Mark Davis told Kyle Fletcher to take him out or something like that. So he popped up on Twitter for the first time. Somebody said for the first time in 119 days to tell Kyle Fletcher to go. So I don't know what his injury. I haven't heard any update. I don't know if he's healed and they're just waiting for something for him to do because, there are 28 members of Don Callis' family. So maybe they just don't have room for him or maybe he's also not cleared yet because his was also a foot injury. But he was only supposed to be out 2 months at the most. And it's been more than that. It's been over 3, I think, that he's been gone. So I don't know if he's just, if he's taking longer or creative has nothing for him. Or maybe they're going to wait for Orange Cassidy to come back because that's what I was telling Nikki because I was trying to remember. I was like, well, he was kind of feuding with Orange Cassidy, who was injured. And he was Ricochet, who is not injured. And then also Speedball, I think. Because it was before Speedball did the jet speed stuff. So they could, but who knows? We'll see. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Yes, he must be taken care of 100%. Eddie's been gone almost a year and a half. God, has it really been that long? I was hoping it was less than that because, all of these things run together and I can't remember.
Yeah, it's not. I can't.
I knew he was
at the end of the week.
I just knew August was always the hopeful timetable. And then he was struggling. And I know he said he's been having some mental health issues on top of that. So then that kind of impeded his progress because he was having to deal with both mental health and then his physical health as well. Because obviously, the mental health he already was dealing with, but then not being able to be in the ring, I think was also affecting his mental health. So it's just been a long time for him. Oh, okay. He did get hurt in the spring of 2024 at the New Japan show. God, was it last spring? I guess it was.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, I guess it has been that long. That's gracious. Way too long. I'm ready for him. I hope he's healthy soon because I miss him. In case you could not tell from the way I talk about him all the time. Yeah, exactly. Nikki says they need to realize the industry will be fine while they heal. I know that in other places your spot would be taken if you miss too much time with injury, but you don't have to.
John Moxley went to rehab and then came back, and he's still a huge star. So I think and this might be a little bit different than usual.
Of course,
situation.
Yes. Crash says big shout out to get Jushin Thunder Liger on for Forbidden Door. He's been photobombing there. Aragon Ballroom for weeks. He looks to be in great shape too. I saw him coming back from the bathroom.
That'd be great. I would love that. I will pop for that.
Yeah, Ace versus Liger. They teased that at Dominion. Dude climbed the guardrails until security stopped him. Not a joke. Oh, I think I do.
Nice.
Yes, but there's a guy who's been at the Chicago shows dressed up as Liger.
Nice.
He's in full Liger gear at all the Chicago shows that they've had. And you can see he's like 2 or 3 rows back. Commentary has referenced him. There's one clip you can see him like coming back from the bathroom in there. It's yes.
That's fantastic.
Was it before? No, Curry, I apparently do not remember that it was before Double or anything. I do remember it being at that New Japan show, and I remember it being Gabe Kidd that injured him, and that's what started the whole storyline, which is, again, why I thought Gabe Kidd was being brought back, because I thought it was going to set up a match between Gabe Kidd and Eddie Kingston at Forbidden Door. That ended up not being the case because A, Eddie is not ready, and B, they were just using Gabe Kidd because they wanted Gabe Kidd on TV.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And so there's that. But yes. Oh, okay. Let's see. I think that's all of the injury news. And yes, I did see it. Speaking of Orange Cassidy, someone says that Orange Cassidy was at StarCast and said that he already had surgery. He's doing well.
Good.
I don't know that he gave a time frame for a return, but the surgery has already happened. He's in the process of healing. So
excellent.
Hopefully that means Orange Cassidy is coming back soon, maybe before the end of the year. I don't know. I have not heard a time frame because it's a torn pec, and then I haven't heard an update about Pac either. Since Pac's injury, because Pac has been out, which is why the Death Riders had Gabe Kidd last month when they didn't need to, because there are 48 members of the Don Callis family that could have filled in. But they had to write Samoa Joe off TV so he could do his Twisted Metal promotion stuff. So they had to write him off TV. So we had to have that match on a pay-per-view. Couldn't just do it on a Dynamite.
Hey, man.
Yes. And also, I do want to say, I saw them talking, the comments about it earlier, that, because I knew Mercedes was in Poland. She just defended one of her titles like Thursday or Friday. She's in Poland and has won 2 more titles.
Oh, geez.
And then she's defending her title at the Rev Pro anniversary show
during the Forbidden Door weekend.
I think is it during Forbidden Door weekend or is it the weekend before? I can't remember.
I don't know. The last time it was near the whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was the weekend before Forbidden Door or if it's the exact same weekend. So she's been busy. So while she's not on TV, kind of like when Toni Storm lost the title, she went and wrestled in other countries. And so Mercedes, shockingly, is actually defending her title. She's not just wearing them; she's defending them. Because it's almost like people want to use her as a draw, so they belt her, and then she comes and defends it. What a shocking concept.
Crazy. And she's like a good wrestler, and she's like putting other people over that you've like never heard of and stuff.
Yeah. She's going to other countries and wrestling for promotions that most people outside of those places are not familiar with. Yeah, she keeps booking herself to win all these titles after that must be why she lost to Toni. She booked herself to lose to Toni Storm to have one less belt and to go win 2 more.
Right.
So
she definitely wanted to win the belt in Poland way more than the AEW Women's Championship.
Way more.
That makes all kinds of sense.
So Lyric posted when I went to retweet, because Nikki had tweeted to watch the show now, so I went to go retweet that from her, and Lyric had posted that she's almost getting to be Ultimo Guerrero level, and it was obviously that famous picture of him with all the belts. And then also I know that our tribal chief is traveling with her because she always talks about how the food in the UK is terrible. And she said, I saw her tweet that our tribal chief said that the food in England had no flavor and they were leaving to go to Poland. She said that they were starving, and so they were going to Poland.
Yeah, they probably do better, actually. Honestly, heartier. I love, because there's a lot of Polish food around here, Hungarian, Polish, Bulgarian, German. All of those comfort foods from all of those places are excellent. So
I can imagine.
They're very good. if you like you a good wurst or a pierogi or something like along those lines, or some good old fashioned like spätzle or something, man. That's great. Brown gravy. Love that. Love it.
Apparently we have made Mel hungry.
Well, I mean, I love comfort food from all over. So in each part of the country that I've lived in, there's comfort food that is like the normal staple food. Like you guys have it
Right.
too.
Sure.
So it's like whatever. It's barbecue in some places. Like out in Seattle, it's literally like one of the big ones is either pho or teriyaki. Is like go to like food that you. It's like not too gross, but you know whatever. Tacos. Right. I mean stuff like that. Just comfort food.
Right.
And I like all the different areas because they have all their own versions and they're all delicious. So, yeah.
Just imagine that.
I don't blame her. It's excellent.
Yeah, sounds like Mercedes is busy while she's away from AEW television. I don't know how long she's supposed to be away for. But she's busy defending her title. She's busy booking herself to win titles in other companies and eating all their food.
Yeah.
With her,
well, I mean, she does like steak, so you know. With her new boyfriend.
He's watching her book herself to win all these matches, and then eating food with her.
Right. It makes total sense. Because we all know that she has well now. So does that mean that she's paying Garrett now?
We'll have to ask how that works. We'll have to ask him. Has there been a change?
But wait, if Mercedes is in charge of booking creative at AEW, does that mean that Mercedes is paying you now and not Tony Khan?
Listen, now you're going to start a whole other set of rumors.
We've been so sarcastic at the end of this because we there's so many silly things that were just like were part of there was like all this great stuff and then these silly things. So Sam and I got a little sarcastic there at the end. It happens, folks.
It does happen.
Hopefully you know that, and I had to say that just in case some random person on the
we may have some new people here in the chat who may not realize
and don't understand that some things that you're saying are actually in a joking intonation and not actually like Mel thinks that.
Sam and Mel think that that Mercedes books herself to win and she pays Garrett.
Right.
Did the 5-star Grand Prix start today? That is a question for Brad.
It's possible, and it's that time of year, so
I knew it. But I think I heard that it was coming up.
It's the time,
so it may have started.
It is tournament season in Japan right now.
It is tournament. Yes,
because you'll actually, I think the N1 should, if it hasn't started, will come around. And I do need to get back on my Wrestle Universe too, but I need to catch up with the G1 first before I start waiting.
I would highly recommend watching.
No, I really want to because there's a lot of matches that I love G1 and there's matches I want to catch up on. It was not for lack of wanting or anything.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
When you're when you're ovaries to the wall, you get tired and you need to just chill out.
Well, there's just not enough time sometimes. I'm still 2 weeks behind on ROH. I still need to go back and rewatch the two women's matches from Supercard. I was rewatching All In until the G1 started. I have 3 matches left on that to rewatch. I still haven't got a chance to get to Evolution yet either.
Yeah, it's like I need my
and now I have Collision
in the
to
background
watch
to keep me calm and nice. And he's like my good meditation. He helps me with mindfulness. He reminds me about birds and squirrels and painting and happy accidents and life and just general and how things are pretty.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, this is good. I need this. I want my wrestling for when I can sit and enjoy it because I don't want to be stress watching it, and I don't want to associate. Like my friend pointed this out to me once, and it's it was John actually. Mm-hmm. He was like, I don't like to stress or like watch things that I like during times that I'm unhappy because I don't want to have those things. I want to save those for relaxing and for. So, and wrestling is one of those things for me. So it's like, I want to be able to sit down, kick it with my dogs, and watch a whole bunch of wrestling and not have to be anywhere. And so I like saving it for that time. And I actually got a little of that on Friday. So I did get to catch, I got to see Tai Chi and Shingo, and I got to see, that I did get to see some, and it was really good. And as soon as like that, it's so fun. I love like even just the opening. And just listening to the Japanese announcer and all the things and everything. I'm just like, oh yay. I don't know. It just makes me happy.
It is good to hear. Yeah,
and
I know what you mean when you hear that.
Great. Shout out to Walker Stewart for continuing to be the best commentator in wrestling now.
Speaking of Walker, he tweeted, so there's a thing going around on Twitter, it's different, you put your different lore. He said that he was practicing to become an opera singer, and his instructor told him to give up wrestling because it was too much of a distraction, and he didn't, and he gave up singing, and 2 years later he was hired by New Japan.
Life is so funny.
Crazy that Walker could be an opera singer and we would probably not know, because opera singing is just not a world that I'm familiar with, and we would not have him being this fantastic commentator, and we would have never known.
My one my one college individual music teacher was an opera background, and
excuse me,
and she was from somewhere like Poland or Austria. And
wow.
Yeah. Yikes. I started out, my first voice teacher was this like awesome. She was like a jazz singer. So she like freestyle and doing all kind of stuff. And then I went from that to like opera lady. She's like, oh, that's not a high C. And I'm just like, oh my God, you're so scary.
That sounds
I might hit a high C just because I'm so afraid of you.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. I love that. I
happened to see him say that last night. It came up on my timeline and I was like, what?
It's always interesting to see how much, because nobody like seems to land in the exact job necessarily that they thought they were going to, or that they were trained for, or
right.
It's so interesting. It's like, how'd you get into this? And you're like, you'll never believe me. And it's like, cool. I want to hear that story then.
Yeah, and Brad said it was also Walker's 4-year commentary anniversary the other day. Good for him.
He's
We're
great.
Spoiled and blessed.
We are spoiled. Him. And he's great. He's a great piece of it. And I love that those two have their thing going now, him and Chris Charlton. And it's
and then like on the shows where Chris hasn't been able to be there, like he had Drilla one night, and then he had Rocky, because apparently Takeshita needs Rocky in New Japan. So Rocky has been with him, and so they put Rocky on commentary.
Oh, that's like my favorite thing though. Is he being a jerk? I love Rocky on commentary.
He was. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
I know the history of Black Tiger because of that.
I'm trying to remember. He wasn't, I don't think he was really even a jerk, because like he was putting over some people on commentary from what I remember. I seem to remember he wasn't really doing the heel thing. Of course he was putting over Takeshita, but he was like putting over other people on commentary from what I remember. So
because Kevin and Rocky during G1 back in the day, when he was like Okada's best friend, is some of the greatest stuff ever.
Yeah.
And that was what kicked off, like when I started talking to John about it, he was like, that was how I got the entire history of Black Tiger, was because Rocky was the Black Tiger. So
yeah, right.
So it's like,
right. Yeah, and that is something else, because Walker's only turned 20.
I know. I can't believe it.
Like,
I love it.
He was clearly meant to do commentary if he found it and excels at it that well at 23. Like, that is clearly he clearly found his calling and is doing it, because and I'm sure he's a wonderful singer.
I'm sure he is. Take that up, wonderful.
But I'm so glad that it worked out for us.
Maybe he'll like sing the national anthem or something someday, or maybe he'll sing not that, but maybe he'll sing a song for us someday that's like a wrestling related song.
Maybe so.
He'll scare us. Maybe he'll sing along to the maybe they'll bring back the singing along to
they were singing because it's not just Five Guys obviously anymore, right? But he was singing, I think he was just singing for just one person the other day. Chris was kind of not very loud, but you could hear him singing a little a little bit. So maybe he'll join in. Maybe he'll make up a song for a wrestler and he'll just sing that.
That'd be hilarious. Just one day to pop like the entire world. Just some random thing where he just busts into song would be the most hilarious moment in history.
That would be great.
And it would be so like perfect for wrestling. It would fit right in. No one would think twice. We'd all just be so excited about it.
Yes. Maybe he can do a duet with Tai Chi.
You're blowing my
Or-
mind.
Or he can sing while the ace plays the guitar.
That would be pretty funny.
Maybe for his farewell, maybe he will sing to Tana as a going away gift.
I like this. I like where this is going. I'm into this.
Nick Wayne was also great during BOSJ on commentary.
Right.
Yeah, Nick Wayne was really good on commentary. I really enjoyed him, listening to him talk. And you got to see more of his personality, which we've not really got to see a whole lot of.
I think it helped him when he came back too, because that talking on there opened him up. Like he's gotten much. He's
same thing with
learning.
Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight has gotten more,
like
his promos, and like he's been able to. I think because Kevin did commentary and was really fun. He did commentary like night one of the first nights. He was really great on there. He was really funny, and I just saw. Speaking of Nick, I think Thursday or Friday made 100 days that he has been ROH World TV Champion. He just surpassed that. So
that's nice.
Things for him. But yeah, so good stuff happening there. There was something I was going to say. I think because I saw somebody mention it, that Collision is on Thursday this week. So
that's
I have Thunder, which I refer to as Thunder Thursday Collision when I get it on there. But that's because SummerSlam is next weekend. SummerSlam is 2 nights next week. It is Saturday and Sunday.
I wasn't sure if it was the NFL starting preseason or
it's
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam. They're running it because SummerSlam is 2 nights this year. And so for the first time ever, probably not the last time, or at least not for the foreseeable future. with the way TKO runs things, probably not the last time. But that's gonna be the show that's got Jelly Roll and Logan Paul on it. So I got to listen to that on. Actually, Jelly Roll was not nearly, because I muted it when Logan Paul came out on SmackDown because I did not want to hear. And then I saw Jelly Roll come out. I almost left it muted, but I unmuted it. He was actually pretty funny. I can't remember. There was something, I wish I remember the very first line he said to Logan Paul, because I actually laughed when he said it. And then he told Logan he was softer than a roll of Charmin.
Huh. Okay. That's good.
Yeah, I'm not like the biggest fan, but this is what they do now.
This is like
unfortunately, classic. At least when AEW, I'm not really the biggest fan when AEW does it. But at least they do it on the pre-show, and they're not doing it as main show matches. This one
is pretty. I mean, that's so WWE.
It is. This is what they do now. This is what we're here for. And so so that's happening. But so SummerSlam, we'll see what happens. Maybe I don't know if we are seeing. We may, depending on what happens next Sunday, may discuss it. I assume Cody is wrestling John Cena for the title. I think Cody is winning the title back. That's kind of been everybody's prediction has been that Cody would win the title back from John Cena, and John Cena was going to retire a babyface, because this was even before the heel run ended up being what it is. I think everybody just kind of thought he's going to get the heel run out of his system. He's going to go out as a babyface. Like, you can't have one of the biggest baby faces retire as a heel. So I think,
and he's got a new show coming out, so
right,
he definitely have
well, so that's how he tried to get out of his match with Cody, was because he was filming something for Netflix. That's how that dumb storyline went. But Cody is probably turning heel at SummerSlam. He said a few weeks ago that he pretty much just said that's what was happening. He's been the segment last week, definitely. I mean, a baby face does not hit the champion in the face with their own title, send them through a table, and then hold their hand and force them to sign a contract. And
not usually.
Baby faces don't typically do that. And he kind of switched it. That's kind of where we get John Cena's kind of in that, because John Cena didn't talk to him as a heel. He talked to him. He's like, Cody, I'm busy with Netflix. I'm going to be tired. Like, he wasn't none of the heel stuff. He was very calm when he talked to him. Wasn't, insulting him. None of that stuff. So you kind of already see double turn seems to, I think that's what's happening. I don't know. I was telling a friend last night that this is probably happening. And they said, are we getting bisexual heel Cody? Because that's the only Cody that works. Or heel Cody that works. I was like, I hope so. But being WWE, I don't know that we're getting that version of him. But hopefully heel Cody turns out better than heel John Cena. but it's also WWE, so I don't know how much Cody will get to do, but that is probably so we may be having a discussion about that next week, because I don't know yet if I'm going to be helping out with SummerSlam coverage, so I will probably not go out of my way to watch it if I don't have to, but I may end up, because it is 2 nights, I may end up helping with coverage, because that's
Yeah, and I imagine
wrestling.
that Scott and Keela will want to do their thing too.
Yeah,
so.
they did just randomly add a six-person tag, a six tag team match for SummerSlam that's also happening for SmackDown, and so it's Motor City, DIY, Street Profits, Fraxium, the Wyatts, who are the current champions, and then the new team of Rey Fenix and Andrade, because they don't have anything for them to do, and so now they've been a tag team for the last month or so, and so yeah, that's the thing that's happening. So tag team wrestling is going well in all of the promotions.
Yeah.
Crash. Yeah. Whatever happens is because of the fate.
It always is.
Always.
It always is.
Listen, we get blamed for everything.
It's all our
We
fault.
need that clip. It made me laugh. I was watching Jim Valley yesterday, and he had that clip of John Cena talking about the reason he turned heel was because of the fans, and because we wanted him to be a good guy for so long, so it's our fault. Then it also made me laugh that he did he has the clip of the talkie talk.
Oh my God, I want that. I actually said something to him. I was like, you need to send me that. We've got this one. He
did play the mouth breathing trolls clip that we
played. Mouth breathing trolls. You all fat, neck bearded, mouth breathing trolls.
There we go. That Jim gave us that. We thank him.
Thank you for that, Jim. Forever.
I'm going to make sure that I was like, you need to give me that sound effects, sir.
That is and that was very long ago, because I don't know. I feel like I saw something about Ruby the other day. Oh, you know what? I think it might have been Ty Mello was saying her last singles match was against Ruby, and how they now both have children. And then I think it was that, but I still haven't heard an update about if she has any plan. I think she's just being a mom, and I don't know if she's training or anything like that, or if she's just doing mom things. I haven't heard an update, but that obviously was Ruby, and so that made me think of that. Perhaps, I can't tell, depending on, I could see that happening, Maria, with Charlotte and Alexa, because they're doing the can they coexist, because it's wrestling, and if depending on how long Liv Morgan is going to be out, because currently it's Roxanne and Raquel, because since Liv got hurt, they gave it to Roxanne. And so I could see them doing that, because they don't know when Liv is coming back, and plus it gets Charlotte and Alexa, gives them something, they can do can they coexist even as champions, because they're kind of friends. The whole thing has been like, we're not even friends, and then she busted Alexa's nose got busted, and she had blood covering her face, and Charlotte was talking to her, so now they're like, I guess, speaking.
Okay.
So maybe they do. Maria says, will Athena lose the ROH championship before time with Tony and win the AEW Women's Championship? I still am going to go with Athena keeps the ROH title through 1,000 days, even though Death Before Dishonor is now at 993 days. I think she retains it there. The following week, she makes it to 1,000 days. I can't figure out yet where she loses it, because they don't do title. Honor Club does not typically do title matches on TV. They do them on AEW pay-per-views if they're not doing it on ROH pay-per-view. So I don't know where she loses it. Could she lose it on AEW television? Certainly, because they don't really have a set thing that they do with ROH titles. They just do whatever with them. I could see her losing it before she wrestles Time with Tony, but I still would save. I don't know how they'll do it, and I haven't watched last night's episode, so maybe that changes things. But I still don't know how you don't do Athena versus Tony at All Out. I don't.
That's me either. Especially
I don't see that is not a forbid. That match should not.
Yeah,
be
once you watch the Collision episode, tell me what you think. Because
okay,
It really seems
Yeah,
like, I mean, I was just like spitballing that, but it really seems like they are pushing. That is actually, if they're going to do a women's main, it seems like that it's building up for that. And that seems
well,
like.
and I don't think if you're going to do your first ever, I mean, clearly, I still do think that Tony and Mariah should have been it, regardless of like, I
obviously.
still think that is it. Mercedes and Tony also, like, how do you not main event them? But Tony versus Athena are two of the very best, and you have the longest reigning champion, and because no, wait, is Tony the longest reigning world AEW World Women's Champion? Because clearly for TBS,
I don't know. That's a good question.
is she? I can't remember where she falls. I don't know if that's been brought up. I need to look and see, because obviously it's a combined reign because she did lose it for a little bit, but altogether I don't know. So then that would be another way to sell it if you have the longest reigning ROH champion versus the longest reigning world champion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where Tony falls with that right now, what her thing is. So Athena and Tony are also an excellent choice to be the first women's main event for a pay-per-view. I mean, you've had two that you could have done.
You could genuinely argue that Tony is one of the, if not the biggest star in AEW right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone loves her.
Right.
It's so loud when she comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Everything she does, like, people just lose it. She's killing it right now.
Yeah, and like I said, that's why I say it all the time. Part of me wants her to be champion forever because she's so great.
I think Athena would make a great champion, though. Athena is already
and to beat somebody, to go from being that dominant and losing your ROH title to immediately dethroning Timeless Toni Storm, who is arguably your most popular wrestler, is also a huge statement for her. But then that's been, we've had that conversation last week, like, who beats Athena? Does she just vacate? Does she make it to 1,000 days and just vacate? They absolutely could do that. I really, really hope they don't, because I feel like Athena should put somebody over after holding that title for 1,000 days. To make the next the next champion to be able to beat Athena after 1,000 days is a huge deal. Not winning a vacated title that Athena has.
Not like having a tournament for a vacated title is no.
Yeah, good. I don't. Could that be the way they do things? Sure, because would not surprise me with it being an ROH title. But I just think it would be.
That would suck.
I think that would suck for Athena's legacy to have her make it to 1,000 days and then not even put over another woman on the way up.
It doesn't seem like her. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't seem like her vibe either.
No, it doesn't seem like her vibe. And I don't, again, Tony's the final, I know
it's not up to her in the end. I'm sure that would even, in a way, I feel like, because how good she looked last night with Alex Windsor and how good of a job she did, like, putting her over. I mean, just that match is really money. You'll like that match.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch Collision later today.
She's like, it's so silly because it's like this. Yeah, hi guys, this is Athena. She's been hidden behind a paywall. There is another excellent lady wrestler out there right now, and she just came onto the TVs, and it's like, yeah, she's been doing this for years.
Yeah,
for 1,000 days coming up. Right. I'm just glad that she's out on the TVs and people are getting to really see her. Yeah, because she said at the All In Media Scrum that she is officially part of the AEW roster, so she is doing both. And yeah, Maria, they have had 2 opportunities for Billie Starkz to beat Athena at pay-per-views, and I still think if they are obviously using Billie, maybe they are getting people used to seeing Billie so that when she does beat Athena, it makes sense. That could be what they're doing, unless they're calling Billie up. Unless they're calling Billie up for TV2, then so if it's not Billie, then I want it to be Queen Aminata. But then I forgot that and I mentioned it last week, Queen Aminata is also in the Pure. Whenever that tournament happens, she's also in that. Because I mean, it seems like, because even with what JD was talking about, so Athena wins, Tony goes away for a little while. Athena and Mercedes is the next natural situation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She loses that TBS title to somebody else, maybe even Athena, who knows? I don't know. Somebody else, probably like somebody like Stat or another person that's up. Like a Willow would be a good choice. Willow would be a great choice. But yeah, Willow and Stat are the 2 that people, and there's even Megan Bain. Megan Main would be a good. I mean, there's a million people. Like, there's a lot of great ladies you could put that on and help build them. And then, like what JD was talking about, well, now you've got Athena and Mercedes. Mercedes is on her slow decline, and Tony comes back at that lowest moment thing again. And so,
well, and and we've
that way you don't have to have the what happens to Toni Storm because she's still a huge star. It's like, yes, she is a huge star, and absence makes the heart grow fonder a little bit on this one. So,
well, and they've got like we've all been talking about, like, when Mercedes starts having the crash out because she's losing all of the titles. Like, that's the story. That's going to be the big
awesome story.
Is Mercedes how she handles how she, like, so she lost this really big title, and we've not seen her, like, obviously in real life she's over here defending titles, but I don't know that I don't know if they're going to mention that on TV. Like, are they going to say next week, by the way, Mercedes has picked up 2 more titles?
Well, she didn't win the women's world title, but she went out and got a whole bunch more, so she could rock them.
You could say that too, but, like, so are they going to acknowledge that, or are they just going to keep Mercedes? Because they haven't talked about Mercedes, at least that I can remember. I don't think they've talked about Mercedes since she's lost. Maybe commentaries mentioned it and I've just forgotten. But yeah.
Yep.
The Monet Meltdown. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be great because Mercedes is
like
very good
Brocata. You could go Brocata, and she would be there. And since they're bros for real, like, because they, she got him to actually smile once. Like,
she did.
Like, maybe she's like following that pattern, and she could do because that was. I know that some people didn't like that. That wasn't my favorite versions of Okada. Like,
Brocata was great.
The idea that a dude can go back to trunks from pants and get a pop on that is how big of a deal. That's how good.
Pop.
That's how good.
That is one of the loudest pops I've ever heard in wrestling. Is when Okada,
and I was part of it.
Yeah, when same.
Right,
I was 5:00 in the morning or whatever time it was, watching live, and that man came out in pants, and I lost my shit. Nikki lost her shit.
John scared his mother. He was upstairs. She's like, "Are you okay?"
The intranet lost its shit, man. Listen, I'm telling you, sometimes watching Wrestle Kingdom live with Twitter is an experience.
Tell me
but that experience alone was. I have never seen so many tweets about a man wearing his long boys,
switching back from a pair of pants to a pair of shorts. Yeah,
going from the long boys to the shorts.
They bitched about the pants the entire time. The pants were the biggest controversy of the Brocata era.
This is true. This is true.
It was so funny. And it was like, dude, he has a plan. He rips this thing off. He's back in trunks. Oh my God. What's going on? A grown man is wearing shorts.
Yes. And yelling Scooby-Dooby-Doo when he jumps.
Wrestling.
And this is also, I know people, there's the people who did not watch New Japan and did not watch the Brocata era, do not know the road to Okada like we have seen.
Yeah.
This man was yelling Scooby-Dooby-Doo from the top rope. Like, when he would jump from the top rope, he was yelling that.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, it was a time. Let me tell you.
It was amazing. That guy has range.
Brocata was a time.
That's why I don't worry
about it. I was a huge fan of Brocata. God, I loved it.
Oh, me too.
So this is why I don't have an issue with the things that Okada is doing in AEW. And I get it. For the people who didn't watch New Japan and they hear, I get it. But for those of us who did watch, like,
some of this is fun.
Okada is
a goof.
Silly. And Okada is legitimately a very funny person.
He's very smart and he's very funny.
He's also maybe a little bit of a himbo. I've seen some clips of him, like some of the things that he's done, and I'm like, what? So he might be a little bit of a himbo.
I like.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I love it. It fits. It all makes sense. Because when you're that good at something, like, all the people that are that talented at their thing are a little off in their way. Because to be that level of talent is, like, so rare and such a unique thing. Like, it's true of, like, anybody that's super good at anything that they're they're just a little different than the rest of us. Obviously, it's a talent thing.
Listen,
but
let's talk about Ibushi. Ibushi thinks that there are 25 hours in a day if he goes to bed later and later each hour of the day. And like Tanahashi's face when he said that was like the funniest thing, one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like Ibushi just lives in his own little world.
Hey, I always tell my friends over the pond there that they're in the future, and I ask them how the day is going to end up. Well, I joke about that with
Yes.
very often. I'm like, hey, it's 5:00 over there. How's this day going? What's
Right.
up?
Yes. Yeah, so Ibushi is also one of those creative geniuses. He's incredible at wrestling, and he's very weird.
Yeah, and when I played soccer, it was
that man got lost in Japan and wandered the streets of Japan all in the city that he was in all night because he couldn't remember what hotel he was at, and he left his phone and couldn't call Kenny to find out. Which is why when Ibushi comes to America, he has to have somebody with him to get him to where he's going because he gets lost easily. And he even posted on Instagram when he debuted or came back a few weeks ago. I don't know who he was with, but he got lost on the way to the venue when he came back a few weeks. So like just on brand. So he's a creative genius, and he cannot be forced to remember how to get places when he just wants to wrestle.
Talent for you.
Yes.
That sounds about right.
Yes, Kenny did say he had to go find Omega. Ibushi, if I could get it out. He had to go find Ibushi because Ibushi could not remember where his hotel was. So he walked around the city all night long.
Wow.
Until Kenny found him.
I'm a little glad they're back together then, because geez, maybe that's been what's wrong the whole time.
I think so. He needs to.
Maybe they needed each other a little. Maybe they're like.
He doesn't function very well without Kenny.
Yeah, I think maybe there was
like. They've talked about it, like he's had to travel.
Like you can be friends platonically with someone of the same sex, and like, I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, they balance each other out. 100%. They need each other. He is a weirdo.
He was born to be weird and is forced to lock in, except he can't really lock in. No, he locks in. And Okada, 100% is born to be a comedic wrestler, has the lock in because he's legitimately one of the greatest.
He's amazing.
But he would thrive as he just wants to be a comedic wrestler. He wants to play jokes on people, but he also just happens to be one of the best wrestlers ever
of all time. Yeah.
Just like apparently Walker wanted to be an opera singer, had to force himself to lock in to become this incredible announcer that we have.
I'm glad that he chose a wrestling for selfish reasons.
Brad.
What'd you say?
Brad said, Kenny and Ibushi have been missing since All In Us were going to come back and be pregnant. I mean, that's the only logical explanation.
I could totally see those two doing that as a gag, too. That's the funniest part. They could totally do that.
Oh, the Golden Lovers.
It'd be like Junior starring Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Can you imagine?
It'd be the funniest episode of BTE ever.
They have to bring back BTE just to do that.
Just for that. It'd be BTE the movie, and that's what it would be about.
Yes. Yes. Yes, Kota only locks in the ring. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
The bell rings and he locks in. The bell rings and he's no longer locked in.
I get it. Maybe like that's in the ring is normal, and then being out of the ring is awkward and weird. I mean, I get it. I'm an awkward and weird human. Yeah. You wouldn't know it from like I'm on a podcast, but I'm way less extroverted than you guys would think.
Right.
I mean, not always, but
I get no.
Apparently, my sister accuses me and other people of making friends everywhere I go, but I can't help it. I make eye contact and I'm polite.
Oh, there you go. Who knew?
I like people. I mean, what's that saying? I love humanity. It's humans I can't stand.
Yeah, right. Let me.
Anyway, now we're getting.
I'm gonna look up the answer to this question, Fernando. Hang on, I saw your question. What
was the question?
How long until Mercedes surpasses Jade? And so I'm looking at the cage match now.
That's funny because on the thread for Dynamite, when I was in Discord doing the live thread with everyone, I did get asked about Athena's 1,000 Days, and I mentioned your Jade Cargill theory also, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, so that makes total sense."
So as of today, according to Cage Match, but also they're in a different time zone, so it may be sometimes I think they're off. They can be off like a day, but according to Cage Match, she has been TBS champion for 427 days. Jade was just over 500 when she lost it. Hold on, I'll tell you the exact date because
they were just to get her to 500. They were giving her like.
She was going back and having the squash matches again to pad her. Let's see. Jade had the TBS championship for 508 days. So in order to surpass that, then she needs to be at least 509. So let's see. Because I can do the quick math, but sometimes I can't. So let's just use a calculator.
Right.
So 509 days, 427 is what she's at now. So that's 82 days. If they get her to exactly 509, obviously she can hold it longer. So that's 82 days from now, which is
36. So that is August, September, we're around the second week of October.
Wrestle Dream is in St. Louis, right? Isn't that what they just announced? And
I don't know where it is, but is that
it is in St. Louis, Wrestle Dream. Hold on. I can't remember the date off the top of my head.
That's
I have too many dates in my head as it is.
I know there's a pay-per-view around that time because that's when we
Wrestle
usually go
Dream is October the 18th. So potentially, that would be well over. This is just we're not doing exact counting. Actually, let's do this. Hang on. When is 82 days from now? It is Friday, October the 17th.
Oh,
so the pay-per-view is the day after. She would break Jade Cargill's record at Wrestle Dream. If we're doing the math correctly, she would be at 5 because 82 days from now, if Cage Match is correct and 427 is the correct day, 82 days from now would put her at 509, which is one day later, so that at 510, she would be at 510 at Wrestle Dream. So
that makes sense.
She could potentially drop the TBS title at Wrestle Dream because she would be at 510 days. She'd be the longest reigning TBS champion at that point.
And then it would just be AEW people now.
Right.
And keep that.
Right.
We like that anyway in our wrestling. We like our canon to be
Yeah, so that could be what they do. They could potentially have her just hold the title until Wrestle Dream.
I think that's totally reasonable. It makes a lot of sense. And once I ran it by a bunch of people, even like Paul was like, "Oh gosh, I didn't even think of that." He was like, "She's probably totally right." I was like, "Yeah, you got endorsed by Paul Fontaine." So Grandpa Des says that Sam might be onto something.
Yes. So that's what we're gonna go with. I guess I can do make sure it's accurate and try to get that before. You guys tweet that out on the internet. Or I guess we could clip this conversation for people to return to.
Oh yeah, there we go. So
yeah. But if again, like I said, Cage Match can sometimes be like a day off depending on because of the time zone or whatever. But if that is correct, then yes, that would put 82 days would put her at 510 days. Which would be 2 days longer than Jade Cargill's reign, and it's on Wrestle Dream, so she could very easily lose that title at Wrestle Dream and beat surpass Jade 2 days earlier. So that is something to keep in mind for the way the booking happens in the next few months.
Seriously. All right.
So thank you for that question, Fernando, because now
we know.
Now I have something else. I have been saying the 5 pat, she's surpassing Jade, but now I have more of a time frame to look at and
it's actually it makes more now you look like it looks
Wrestle
obvious.
Dream also makes sense because that is a pay-per-view to honor Antonio Inoki, and considering how much she loves Japanese wrestling, I could also see something like that happening too. So
I like it.
that would be a really good place to drop it, is at a show that is in memory of Antonio Inoki, and having her someone who loves Japanese wrestling as much as she. I mean, let's not forget, prior to her injury, she was planning to move to Japan.
Yeah,
like
that's
she
right.
was taking classes, learning how to speak Japanese. She was she was looking for somewhere to live in Japan when she got injured, and so she stayed here to heal. So that would be a very appropriate place, I would say, for
Yeah, I
her to
like
drop
that.
the
I
title.
mean, that makes a lot of sense. For all
But then
the
again,
reasons.
I've made sense of lots of things, and then it's not played out that way.
Yeah, who knows? I mean,
Makes
we're
sense
only
to me, maybe not to
we're only
Tony Khan.
fantasy booking. It's fine.
We
We
do
don't lose
fantasy
any.
booking 3 months in advance.
Yeah, it's all right.
Fine. Who
It's
cares?
long-term storytelling.
Right, exactly. See, that's what long-term booking, long-term storytelling. That's what we do here on Powerbombshells.
That's right. Our
we
fantasy booking
we
is
long-term
long-term.
fantasy book.
Hang in there. Oh my gosh.
All right. I think that is all it for us.
I think
this
that is
week.
all.
Thank you for following us. Make sure you follow us on or subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Fight Game Media has tons of really great stuff, and you can see clips of various shows so that you can kind of get a taste of stuff like the Wrap, which is not on YouTube. They do clip their stuff. I'm sure they are going to have some summer. They'll probably be live after, if they're not live after both nights of SummerSlam, I assume after one of the shows, maybe night 2, they will be. Again, if you want to hear more about Hogan in Japan, go to this channel and go watch Speaking of Strong Style. They have the full episode, but if you want just the clip of them talking about that, that's on there as well. There's tons of great content. You can follow along on Twitter as well. Fight Game Media is on Blue Sky. They just don't use it very often. We are on Blue Sky, each individually, and Power Bombshells. I try to be a bit more active there. OneRadT.com is where you can find our t-shirts, and you can find all kinds of incredible merch. And I think that is everything. I think that's everything to plug.
Everything
if you do,
plug.
but go ahead and subscribe, because if you do want after show stuff for SummerSlam, I would be certain that they would do something next weekend if that's what you're looking for. Thank you very much. You enjoy your weekend as too.
Yeah, thanks for coming. We always enjoy having you guys in here, and we really appreciate your comments and your interacting with us. It's really fun to talk to you guys, and it just we like having fun with pro wrestling, and this makes my day, makes my week. I really look forward to this.
Yes, same. Me too.
All right, so everybody have an excellent Sunday, and we will catch you next week.
Bye.